coming. This is our first of a series of training sessions that we are putting together because we feel it's a very necessary part of rescuing and being a volunteer and fostering. You know, you guys open your hearts, you open your homes to bring these dogs in, and yet for many of you, you don't have a lot of the skills. You have the desire and the love for the dogs, but you don't have the skills on how to deal with these dogs. So this series of these talks that we're going to be putting on with different trainers, we're going to put them strategically in different parts of the valley to make it convenient for everybody also, is to help give you some basic information, give you some resources to go to, and to educate you. So, you know, we're going to have panels of trainers. This panel is Catherine Breeden, who is new to the valley. She and her husband moved here in January. It was recent. She's an excellent canine consultant, behaviorist consultant. She's got just a wealth of knowledge, and so we're very, very fortunate to have her working with Rescue. We have Wendy Faircloth, who has dozens of years of training and is also an outstanding trainer. And so we have a panel. And the talk today is basically to help show you some canine body language, show you what canine body language means when people say, oh, my dog is doing fine. Well, maybe not, you know? And to give you some indications and some signs as to what to look for. What, you know, a tight lip means, what a whale eye means, what a wagging tail isn't always a happy dog. So canine body language. And then how to introduce your dog, a new dog, into your home. From best case scenario to the very least that you should do. As fostering, it can make or break a foster. You know, it can make it so it's a much easier transition for you and make it so it's a very positive experience for you and the dog, make it much less stressful for you and the dog and the dogs that you have in your home. I would bet you everyone here, except for Eddie, is a multi-dog household.
Except for
Am I
me.
correct? Everyone here
Probably.
has more than one dog. So when you bring a new dog into your home, it is stressful for your dogs also. So, you know, how to alleviate some of that stress. And then we'll just questions and answers, you know. And it doesn't have to be pertaining to what these topics are. We are planning on having another one of these talks in September. Been talking to Sean Johnson at Top Dog Training, who is in Gilbert, and he has opened up his facility in September, so we'll probably end up there. So I want to thank Via La Paz for donating their facility today. I want to thank every one of you for coming. Thank you, Catherine. Thank you, Wendy. Thank you, Robert and Cynthia, for videoing, and they'll be posting that, and I'll give you all the information. They'll be posting that on, it should be ready in 10 days?
Yeah, 7 to 10 days.
If you want to write it out, this presentation will be edited and then posted on ourfosterdogs.com. Very good. But I'll be posting that out with email. We'll be sending that out also. So, thank you to Arizona Border Collie Rescue. You have books. You have note paper in your books. Please write as many notes as you want to. We also have handouts that we'll be giving to you throughout the talk because we don't want you to concentrate on handouts while Catherine's talking because you then don't actually listen. Not that you wouldn't. But we'll have handouts too that you can take home. So keep these books. The idea of this book is you can then take it to every one of these seminars that we do. You know, this is a first of many series. We're also trying to expand to do some one-on-one classes. It's a training program where the money that goes for this goes back into training these dogs so that we can have more seminars, we can have one-on-one training, we can have classes. So it's just the beginning of a whole new educational program for the rescue dogs. We have snacks over there. We have water in the cooler, and then through here and to your left is a restroom. We'll be taking breaks periodically, and if you have any questions, please keep them to the last. If you have cell phones, please turn them off.
Oh.
Good job. And so here comes Lisa. Thank you very much, and Catherine, let's get started.
Yeah, let me get my phone off. And it's funny, I bet there's still somebody whose phone will ring.
Oh, sure.
Yeah.
Because it's like at the movies, they have that big thing, please turn your phone up, and then if it'll probably be mine, because I'm so technically challenged, it's not even funny.
That's why you have AJ.
Yeah, thank God for AJ.
Come on, Wendy.
Yeah, they say opposites attract, and I am just terrified of this stuff, and he lives and breathes it and earns his living doing it, so it's one of the reasons I married him, I suppose. So thanks everybody for coming. I'm Catherine Breeden. I just put my little banner there because I'm very proud of it. It's Purdy, and I take that with me when I do Ask the Trainer sessions, which I do at Choice Pet stores. I've been doing them at Chandler on Sundays. People can, and I work with another rescue group there. And I can do that with you guys too. Actually, I turn up to the adoption event and actually talk to you about, put that dog there, let's put these dogs together, don't put them like that or whatever, and then start teaching the volunteers how to work with the dogs at the adoption event to make the dogs more adoptable. Because a lot of the time those adoption events are a disaster. I mean, the dogs are having a terrible time.
It's a very high-stress situation for handlers as well as dogs.
Yeah, it is. All that barking and everything, and that can be different. It doesn't have to be like that. It can be a lot different. Bit of background about me. I came over from England in '99 to marry my lovely husband. I didn't just come here to marry him, but we had already met and dated long distance for a year, but that's another long story. So I didn't just set out deliberately to end up doing what I do now. It was kind of accidental, and you might find yourselves going the same route at some point if you end up with the sort of dog who forces you to learn a lot more than you might have ever wanted to learn. And long story short, but the first dog that we adopted from DFW Lab Rescue ended up biting a whole bunch of people, and pretty much I would say that was thanks to me and ignorance. Just had no idea what I was doing. I thought I did because we'd always had dogs. Just because you've always had dogs doesn't mean you actually know anything about them. So I've always lived in houses where there was plumbing, but I am not a plumber. There's a lot of computer equipment in our house, but you'll probably see today I'm no good with it. So I ended up, starting to get myself educated, and it kind of went from there. Worked in doggy daycare for several years. That's a great way to get experience of dog behavior, body language. Just going to the dog park is actually a great way to get experience of watching the dogs. You see it all at the dog park. I don't recommend taking your dogs to the dog park necessarily. But anyway, so I think Marilee's kind of covered what the plan is. I thought that one of the big subjects or big problems people have is introducing these dogs into their homes, and a lot of you are how many of you are fosters? How many have we got here? Right, almost everybody. Okay, great. So, bringing these dogs into the house, very often they're just thrown in at the deep end and it's sink or swim, which in some ways it's not such a bad idea, because you sure find out what that dog's about because he's under a lot of stress. So, but is that necessarily the right way to do it? And does it give the dog the best chance? And I would say no. So, but one of the things that you're not going to be able to do very successfully with the introductions and managing these foster dogs is if you can't read their body language and you don't know what they're saying, then you haven't got the information you need. So I thought today it would be a good idea to show you, and that's what this presentation is specifically for. The lady who put it together is called Carol Burns, and she basically put all these photographs together and little explanations and what have you, showing all the body language a lot of the body language that dogs use that most people don't even realize, because dogs talk to you with their body. They're communicating with each other and with us all the time with their body, and they're reading your body language. They don't speak English, not a word, or French, or Spanish, or anything else. So, I mean, dogs vocalize, they growl, they bark, but all the communication is really going on with the whole body, and it's not just the tail. Like, that's often the last thing you really want to be looking at. You want to know what the dog's really trying to say. So she put this together, and you can buy this presentation. It's not expensive. You can buy it at her website, and it's really useful. So what we're going to do is it's actually a 3-hour presentation. So I hope you've all got a free afternoon. No, I'm joking. So I'm going to really kind of race through it, because I think that the big thing for everybody really is this whole thing of dogs getting along and introducing them. But I also think it's very important that we cover some of this stuff, and then go on to how we introduce the dogs, how we deal with them on a daily basis, and the specifics, problems that shelter dogs have, and they have a lot usually, often. So that's her little spiel of how you've all read it by now, I'm sure. Now, can you see it? Can everybody actually see this? I mean, start complaining if you can't. Some of the pictures are not perfect. They're not, the best quality, but they serve the purpose. So, the first seminar I went to was many years ago with Turid Rugas. Have any of you heard of Turid or know her? Yeah. So Turid coined the expression calming signals, and a lot of you have probably heard that expression, calming signals. And personally, I was very confused at the time because I thought, well, the dog doesn't necessarily want to be calming themselves down. Maybe they're having fun. And so after a while, I thought, I think it's much better to call them communication signals. So don't always feel that it means there's a problem, right? A calming signal, I would rather say, is very specific, actually. There are some things that they do that you can be pretty sure if they're doing that, that is a calming signal. But a lot of the rest of it is just communication. There's something going on. So that's what she calls it, canine communication. So the first thing she's talking about here is the shifting weight. So, and I am going to go pretty quickly through these. If anybody's getting really lost or has a question, just hang on to the end. Maybe we'll have covered it. So if you look at these two dogs here, the little tan and white Jack is leaning into the other dog, full frontal, full on, and the other one paw raised, and you see the fuzziness on the tail. That means that that dog's tail is actually wagging really fast, but he's leaning back. So I can't tell you what that means. It doesn't matter. All of these, I'm not going to be trying particularly to say what this means at this point. What I want to do is to get everybody to start being aware of all these signs and look for them, because that in itself is hard enough. Actually, that would. So, no. Go away. I daren't hit escape because then it'll make it start again. It'll go back. Thank you. Thank you. So just bear in mind that, as I said before, the dogs don't speak English. They don't understand what we're on about. So it really makes no difference if you say, no, or no. It's the intention and your body language and the tone and the emotion behind it that is going to have the effect on the dog, not the words. The words are meaningless. But that doesn't mean they can't learn. They do learn English, obviously. They learn it one word at a time, and then you can chain it together. So then you've got a dog who you can say, go in the kitchen and get your pink ball. They can totally do that, but you have to teach them, rather like you teach children. You teach them bottle. You show them the behaviour, show them the thing, and attach the name to it. So, communication signals, and there's a handout you've got there that's got all of them listed with what they can intend to mean. And it's very important to understand what the dog is trying to achieve when they're doing these things. So, creating distance, either get away from me or come closer to me. So we call that distance increasing, distance decreasing. And we're going to look at all of those. And expressing politeness, it's just their way of communicating, hi, I come in peace, or I'm scared, or I'm happy. So all the different body parts we have to look at, and very often we don't. We might just look at the tail, but the actual the mouth itself, just how the mouth is open, and is the commissure, which is this part of the mouth, pulled back? Is the eye soft? Is it hard? A lot of this, I think, when you're around dogs a lot, you kind of almost intuitively, you just feel it. But it's a very good idea to be more cognizant of it, to actually be thinking about it, not just, well, that dog gives me the creeps. Well, why? I don't like the way he's looking at it. Well, what is it? What exactly is going on? And there's a Facebook group, and I've listed it on that handout, called Observational Skills. It's phenomenal. You're not allowed to interpret anything. You just go there, people post video and photographs. Have you seen that group? It's fabulous. And basically, all you're allowed to do is say what you see. and there's lots of trainers in there, and it really is a great Facebook group for you to go and get experience of and examples of what people are seeing, and you'd be amazed. I mean, people, they analyze videos and say at 1 minute such and such the dog did a look away, lip curl, tongue flick, whale eye, it's like, God, I didn't see all of that. So that's what you need to be looking at, is all the different parts of the body, because they all mean something, and it can be very fast and very subtle. So all these behaviors we're going to look at: shifting weight, blinking, licking, yawning, sniffing, looking or not looking. And looking away is a big one. Just the very state of the pupils. Are they dilated or not? The corners of the mouth, like I just mentioned. The posture, how stiff they are. Are they leaning forward? Are they going sideways? The bend of the elbow even, in a play bow. The breathing rate, speed and direction of movement. But as she says, the most subtle body language signals carry great meaning. Huge meaning. Just a change in breathing. That'll tell you a lot. The dog's running around playing it. Something's going on. Tenseness of muscles, squinting eyes. Are they soft or are they hard? Look out for those hard stares. I'm not going to play that one. So thin slicing, just bear in mind all the little tiny bits, and they all pile up together. That's what we're looking at for all the component parts. So just here, and you are getting this would be stupid if you weren't. You are seeing what I'm seeing, yeah? Everyone's looking like, what's she on about? She's crazy. That would be really good, wouldn't it? Everyone's just sitting there going, she's completely mad. They may be right. So look at all these tails, and, another thing also is breed. The breeds, of course, can make it more difficult. You've got your pug, and your husky, so it's not always going to mean the same thing, but high tail carriage, stiff tail carriage, curling over. Well, if it's a husky and he's already got a tail like that, what else? We look at everything else. So take it in context. This is quite a nice little video. Let's see if it'll play. This should get bigger. Can you see it? So watch the Labrador. Just start watching the body language. See the shift in the weight? See? Ready to run. Look at the tail. Now look at the relief. Did you see? The pressure comes off. And the dog's like, oh, they're going away now. I can be safe. And watch this white dog with the ring around it. At the end of the video, you'll see a very different behavior from that dog, and it's a great example. This is very slow. This is very slow, Marilyn. Very slow. Compared with my computer at home.
Well, yeah, well, you're very good.
There you go. So look at that white dog's tail. Apart from everything else that's going on, the sniffing, the other one sniffing around. Hey, I come in peace, I'm calm, I'm cool.
I'm leaving.
What, see? Look at how happy we are now. See the difference? See how soft the whole body just becomes soft. The tail goes down, low wag, happy loose. Whereas before it was totally stiff and up, and the whole dog was tense, and you've got to be looking out for that stuff. Again, these are signs of appeasement, like, oh, you're scaring me. People often think their dog is guilty. When you yell at the dog, he knows he did wrong. I came home and he'd ripped up the couch, and I looked at him and he knew darn well he'd done wrong. No, he doesn't. Got no idea. You're just frightening him. The eyes, I mentioned that before. Squinty, hard eye, whale eye. Does anyone know what whale eye? Are we familiar with whale eye? Yeah.
Oh my God.
You see all the white. You see all the white.
We have one.
Yeah.
Very big eyes. They eventually calm down.
But that's the stuff you're looking for. And again, it doesn't always mean the same thing, but you better be watching for it, because it's going to mean something. Here's a nice squinty, and the two of them actually are the same. He's looking at the dog, and they're nice and relaxed and squinty. Again, you can just feel that dog's okay, right? The pupils are not all huge, soft mouth, relaxed, totally relaxed. Again, breeds, you know, you're border collie people, you know, these herding breeds, they tend to be intense, don't they? So the is that a Malinois? No, is that a Turv? Yeah. They're intense dogs, so you know, you might say technically, well, closed mouth, bit of a hard stare, but actually for that breed, for that dog, that's okay. He's just looking. Now that one, direct, leaning forwards, very intense. But that could change the next second. You know, these are still shots. The purpose of them is we're not interpreting what it might mean. We're just trying to encourage you to start looking for all these things. There's a look away. Oh my God, this kitten's staring at me like crazy. If I look away, maybe he'll go away. Look at the intensity. Now, this is a really good shot. I like this one a lot, of the golden, if that's what it is. See the mouth, how tense it is? So you see the little tongue flick? See the whale eye? I wouldn't be surprised if that dog snapped at that puppy in a minute. That's not very good quality. So here's a lot of eyes. Which dog would you feel, you know, I'll go up and pet that one, no problem. Which one would you? Number, yeah, right. Now why? You know, why? Yeah, 6. And 2 is okay too. They've got their heads a little tilted. But, oh, I just realised this is banging on the file and making noise. I wouldn't want to go and just grab hold of number 1. Not right now.
No, grab hold of you.
So, tipped head shows friendly interest. So here we go. Squinty soft, number 4. Nice. The unblinking stare. That's another thing. Dogs should be blinking softly, staring like that. It may just be focused on somebody with a tennis ball. We're not trying to interpret. We just want to be aware. And there, 5 is a great whale eye. Real nice. And then number 8, you know, look at the size of the pupil and that bit of white round there. And again, breed, you know, number 3, that's a Boston, I think. They tend to show more of the white. So again, look at the context. What else is going on? Is the dog all stiff and tense and all the other body parts? What are they doing? What's the context? But it's just stuff that you start to look for without even realizing once you start doing it. And it's fun. Lookaways. And it means something. See, we tend not to, because we're not schooled in this, we just ignore it. But that lookaway tells you volumes. If you yell at your dog, they're probably going to look away. And look away takes different forms. The first thing will be eye contact. So if I'm looking at the dog and I'm, you bad dog, the first thing, he's not going to keep looking at you. And then you keep going, he's probably going to go, oh dear, oh dear, oh goodness. And this is what you see at the dog park. You know, dogs who are playing too roughly, the first thing that dog's going to do to try and tell that other dog, cool it dude, you're just too much, is look away, turn away, walk away, go and pee on something and sniff. Sniff, sniff, sniff. I don't even see you. And that's what you want to do with your dogs when they're perhaps clamouring for attention and you don't want to give it to them. Just look away. It's huge. It's huge to the dog. We do a lot of, I talk a lot, but I don't talk to dogs all the time, but we talk to them all the time, blah, 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 and that's what they hear. What they're really looking at is what we're doing with our bodies. So, well, you can see that that's uncomfortable, very uncomfortable music. You see how tucked the tail is, looking away. But the good thing is the body's in a C curve, and that's another good thing to mention now, is that dogs usually will curve. If you watch 2 dogs approaching, if they're going to be polite, they are not coming like this. And that's why we have so much trouble on leash, because we force the dogs to walk head to head. You drop the leash, they're probably going to go nose to butt, unless they've obviously got real issues. But they are forced to be impolite when they're on a leash. This is great. This little border collie is to die for. They've never met the cat and the dog. See all those lookaways? What a great dog. Isn't that a lovely dog? Yeah. Leaning away, looking away. And the cat, they've never met. Hello. Oh.
Please make him leave.
He's going, oh. He's okay. This dog is around cats, but it's the first time he met that cat. You really gone? You really gone? See all those lookaways though? Great communication. Now this is taken from a demonstration of CAT, which is a protocol that people don't really use so much anymore. The big dog is over threshold, right? You see that there, that's wrong. We don't want that. The one who just pounced. It's a leash aggressive dog, and this is a protocol that Kelly Schneider came up with called CAT, Canine Adjustment Therapy, I think, training, where she exposes the dog to a well-balanced, stable dog. And when the dog displays the behaviour that you want, you take the other dog away. But that dog is over threshold because it's actually displaying aggressive behaviour towards the other dog. So that's not a good plan. Now is when they should go. But the other dog is very relaxed, does lots of lookaways. He comes in peace. See? And they've obviously got to keep it on the leash, but he's turning away, he's looking away, and he's like, okay, I'll sniff. All this is his way of saying, you don't have anything to worry about. I'm cool. There we go. This is a good one to talk about, space guarding. So start thinking about what you're actually seeing, the position, the body language, shake off. There's a bit of a de-stressor there. Muzzle, open mouth muzzle punch. Fast. Basically controlling the space. See, all with the body. Just, you stay there. Oh, can I come in now? Lip licks. Sniffing. Saying, okay, I come in peace. And there's a lot more to all of these, but we just don't have time. There's an awful lot of these slides. So. See the look away? These are just great examples of these things. This is a nice little one. So if your dog's constantly pawing at you and wanting attention because you've rewarded him for it inadvertently in the past, change how you respond and the dog will change how they respond. See? That's it. I don't see you. Oh dear. Okay, I'll go and sit down. Didn't say a word. Didn't have to say a word. That's not training, that's communication. Shake-offs. Dogs do that to kind of... actually, it makes us feel better if we shake off too. You get a bit wound up. And they do that. If you yell at them, they'll often... You notice. You go, stop that! They go, ooh. Shake it off. Just another example of, you can't have my sandwich. Just look away. Don't see you. So, she probably thinks she's saying, no, Fluffy, stop, don't, no. Fluffy hears, yeah, bring it on. Because she's doing everything to encourage it. See, she's probably giggling and chatting and she's pushing against the dog, which has the opposite effect. He's now pushing into her. Thinks she likes it.
Well, in training is like restraint builds drive, so the more you pull on the dog or pull this way, it's like loose leash walking, you pull this way, they want to go more this way.
Course.
So the more you do this, the more they want to come for you.
Yeah. So this is a list of all the sort of things that dogs do when they feel the need to say, oh gosh, please back off, calm down, you're freaking me out, or I come in peace. And it all has a meaning. It's not just by chance. I mean, yeah, dogs will yawn after a hard day's exercise, but a lot of the time it's going to be telling you something. Something's going on. You yell at them, they'll probably go, oh dear. It's like at the park. You call your dog, come here, Fluffy. Fluffy doesn't take any notice because you've never trained a proper recall. Fluffy, come here. It's going to start, immediately he's going to start some calming signals. Okay, I see you. We should cool it though. I'll just sniff here while you calm down. Get over here right now. So then he's really coming slower and slower and slower. So all those signs you want to be looking for. Are you making your dog go around licking and sneezing and sniffing and yawning? And I don't know if any of you have ever seen that British comedy called Blackadder. No? Oh well, there's a character in it called Baldrick, and he's like this. He goes around, but he doesn't really mean it. He's always pretending to be subservient, but he doesn't mean it. Now watch this dog guarding. There's treats in that box, food in the box, and this is. Look at the stance, the stiffness. That's all it needs to do to say, "You come near this, and I'll have you." And they know, even the cat knows. The cat's going, whoa. And here comes the dog like, I'll just walk very calmly and quietly behind you. And I'm actually just sniffing. I'm really just here to sniff. And he says, you watch it, mate. He's like, well, I'll just look around. And I'm just very quietly coming over here past you. Please don't get me. But I'll have you. Not a sound. Nothing. That's all he has to do to tell that dog, don't even go there. And they get it. Those books. Weight shift.
First of all, that poor dog's dressed bad.
I was going to say.
It's the hog. So shifting weight. Just things to look out for. Just start off at, this is ground zero, but start looking for this stuff. And then that's a whole other thing is, well, what does it mean? And we haven't got time to get into all of that today, but if you just even start looking for this stuff, you'll be getting ahead. So see the deference, the mask. I think that's a mastiff, or is it a bloodhound? I can't really tell what that dog is. Anyway, lowering of the head, averting the eyes, just saying, hey, you're really big, and I come in peace. So I need to get moving through these. Yeah, play bow. Watch out for play bows. They can be an invitation to play, obviously, but again, it can also mean, calm down, dude. Please stop yelling at me. They're all looking away and sniffing. I don't know why, but that's what they're doing. Sometimes it just there may be treats on the floor. Who knows? But there's something going on. That's what you just want to be aware of. Something's going on. Yeah, and this thing of blowing the handler off. Oh, he's blowing me off. At the park, you yell for Fluffy. You haven't taught him a recall. Come here, Fluffy. Get over here. He's like, oh, God. So they're not blowing you off. They're trying to communicate with you. They're saying, please, you're really scaring me. Just cool it. Dogs don't blow people off. So these are all things we mentioned. Looking away, turning away, slowing down, curving, sniffing, scratching and shaking off. All those things are part of the picture that you should be looking at. Two mildly stressed dogs, alike yet different. What do you see? So, would you just walk straight up to those dogs? I wouldn't. Especially that one on the right. And that actually looks a bit like, and she doesn't talk about it on this presentation, but it looks a bit like what they call spatula tongue. Are you familiar with that? Yeah. Do you think that looks a bit like a spatula tongue?
Bit, yeah.
It's not a great picture, but that is something else just to be aware of, is what they call spatula tongue, and it's when the tongue is really
Flat.
yeah, it's flat and round, and some of the bully breeds will have that when they're overheating, when they're very hot, don't they? But it's actually, I find it very difficult to see, to really pick it up, and because it's fast as well. But and all this tongue flicks and lip licking, it's all part of it. It's not a coincidence. It's how they communicate. Yawning. They're not, they're yawning a lot. You watch your dogs. Go home today and start watching for this stuff. They're not exhausted. Oh God, I must go back to bed. Go to the dog park in your own backyard. You've all got multiple dogs. Start watching them, and just start counting all these. It's like, God, he's 5 yawns in 10 minutes, or all those things. The shake off. You'll see it. It's happening all the time. That one's not so good. That one's not very good quality. We've talked about shake off. Paw lift. That's another It's another way that you can see there's an emotion going on, or there's something going on. The dog is how it's feeling. It's how it's thinking. It's, oh, what's that? We need to read all these. Trust me. Yeah, when you take your dog to the vet, a lot of dogs, when they get there, immediately the coat starts coming out. They can even produce dandruff just like that, sweaty feet. And that can be all sorts of things. But again, they're just things to look out for. We tend to not pay attention to those things, or not even be aware of them. We just don't see them. See, again, here's our lovely soft golden, and here's a freaked out bad picture, maybe a golden. See that? Can you see that? You can see the difference. This is a more tricky one, I find. The way the mouth is actually, how they're holding their mouth, if it's kind of tense. Like if you were going to bite something really hard, you don't just bite it like that. You're going to tense your mouth up, and it's something to watch out for. The puckering around the corners, how it's drawn back, and the teeth. And this, so that's communication right there. Back off, bitch! You are scaring me. Do you see these white shiny things? Don't make me use them. Look at the pupils, not even dilated. That's very confident. And the next picture may be just back to play again. That could be boom in a split second. Now we've got a little grinning dachshund over there. And the little pit, unless it's a staffy, I'm not so sure. So that's context. You could say he showed his teeth. Well, he's showing his teeth, but what else is going on? I wouldn't have any problem approaching them. Not sure about that Dalmatian still. He's only a baby, isn't he? A baby. Can you guys see this? I've just realised. Are you seeing everything I'm showing? Are you okay?
Yeah.
Come closer if you need to. So, look at all that puckering. Look at the hair sticking out. Like that. And look at how tense it is. I'll have you any minute now.
Yeah, you take one more step.
Yeah, that is very loud and clear communication. And do you know what the last thing you should do if a dog does that to you? Tell them to stop. No way. Don't ever, ever punish the growl out of a dog, because then all you've got is a ticking time bomb. You've got to address the underlying cause. Why did the dog growl at me? Why did he snap at me? There was something going on that led the dog to feel the need to express himself in that way. We need to back off and work out what we were doing and how to make the dog feel better in that situation next time. See all that tension around the face, all that puckering on around the mouth there? This dog is not enjoying this game. And they don't even notice. See that tongue flick, whale eye? Got it all going on. Rigid. That doesn't look pretty. We're back to the... So, well, I mentioned that all at the beginning. Leaning away, straight on approach, pretty rude. The little tan and white Jack is stiff, tense, pushy. But guess what's making the big, big difference in this situation? Leash. Now watch. Totally different. Leashes cause all sorts of trouble. That's one scared dog. Road rage. Side by side. Much more friendly and polite. For us as well, if you're approaching a dog that you don't know, you don't ever want to go straight up to them. You would always come in. Come. He's a very good dog. So if you don't know the dog, you don't want to go up to that dog like this. Hello, how are you? Boom. No. You want to come up sideways, and the least offensive way to make physical contact with a dog you don't know is the back of your hand on the side of the shoulder. And watch the dog. They tell you how they feel. I mean, we love getting hold of our dog. Oh, I'm home, honey. Cuddly, cuddly, cuddly. Watch your dog. First thing he's doing is probably turning his head away like, oh, here she is again. Now, that doesn't mean that we can't do that, but we should be cognizant of the fact that they're probably not really enjoying it. They get used to it. They put up with it. But just be aware. Watch your dog. If your dog loves you doing this, He'll be leaning into you, turning into you and liking it. But he also might be giving you appeasement signs. He might start licking at you, and clients will say to me, oh, he loves to kiss me, he's kissing me. No, he's going, for God's sake, get off me, I come in peace, you don't have to keep doing this to me. So watch what they're doing. They're trying to tell us all the time, and we just ignore them. So, parallel walking, and we'll get to that when we get to the whole introducing dogs and what have you, but parallel walking can be a really good way to introduce dogs. And you wouldn't start like that. You start, on the other side of the street, just letting them see each other and then get closer and closer. Those pugs. So the little pug is presenting a shoulder, soft squinty eye, weight shifted away. So that's all polite. That's nice. Is this making sense? Anybody got any questions like, God, what are you talking about? Or, no? We're all good?
No, but I do have a question going back to one of the slides where the dog is lunging with the mouth open.
Mm-hmm.
We adopted Mandy back in January, and my sister has rabbits which she keeps in her bedroom, and we've got a pet gate separating it, and Mandy will keep lunging at that gate with her mouth open, trying to get to the rabbits.
She a border collie?
She's more of a border collie mix. She's black with the white markings on the chest.
Mm-hmm. So what's the question?
Why do they lunge with their mouth open? Because I had a border collie before, and she never did that. So, is that an aggressive sign where she's trying to get,
It sounds like it. It sounds like it. But again, you'd have to look at everything else. Is her mouth open because it's just gently panting? But if she's lunging and banging into the gate, that sounds like there's an excessive arousal at the very least, if not some predatory.
Normally running around in the bedroom, and when she sees that, that's when she...
Well, it's probably triggering her prey drive. I'll kill those bunnies.
I thought about that.
So they should cover the baby gate. Cover it. Don't let her see it. If at the least. But she needs to be taught to ignore the bunnies. And I'm not going to get into that right now if that's okay, but I've got to keep going through these slides. But you should at least cover the baby gate with a towel or something so she can't see them. Because she's just practicing, she's rehearsing that behaviour, so we have to stop it. Not by yelling at her or anything, just cover it. What's wrong with this picture? See the tail carriage? The way he's coming in to lean over the smaller dog? And it's not very easy to see, but he's actually got his paw up on the other dog. And again, what have we got in the mix? Tight leash is drawing the dog into the one's space because the owner's actually over there. So this could become that situation any moment now where everyone's going round and round and then trouble breaks out. And that's another thing on leash. How many times have you seen two dogs meet on leash and they seem to be, everything's going fine, and suddenly boom! And that's largely because the greeting has been too long. So if you're gonna let your dog meet other dogs when you're out on a walk on leash, make it very short and sweet. And if you want to stop and chat with your neighbour, put your dog in a sit and don't let them all be going around like this. Because it's a bit like, when you meet somebody, even someone you know well, you give them a hug. It's very subtle, isn't it, how long that hug's okay for? It's like, okay, I got the hug. Even a handshake, it's like, look, so hi, nice to meet you. It's really, really, really good to meet you. It's getting a bit uncomfortable now, isn't it? You've no idea how long I've been waiting to meet you. I saw your videos. How's it feeling now? You want me to let go? Yeah, let go, Catherine. So, it's an invasion. And that's just the handshake. So when these dogs, they make this lovely greeting. Oh, hi. Well, hang on, you're still here, and you're right. Oh, you don't smell so good after all. It can all start out just fine. So keep those greetings short and sweet.
I just had a question about when your leashed pet, who's behaving himself, is confronted by an unleashed, unruly dog. Not necessarily.
Oh, that's a whole separate seminar.
Yeah. Because I've had it where, with various dogs of mine, that were good,
horrible situation.
And obedient, and I'd see this rushing
Yeah.
dog, and I'd put them in a sit so they wouldn't rush up as well, but then they got jumped by the other dogs.
I know, it's awful, it's horrible.
My dog is friendly.
Oh, that one. Yeah, it's okay. He's friendly. Yeah, but mine isn't. Yeah. How often that happens? You're out with a reactive dog on leash. Yeah, you want to shoot them. Well, sometimes a gun is actually the only thing that would resolve the issue.
Because I actually put them in a sit behind me and then got in front of them and went, no, to the oncoming dog.
That can work. It depends on the dog. My favourite thing, and I don't like to have to deal with this too often, but it does happen, is basically never go anywhere without a big bag of really yummy treats. And I'm talking chicken or cheese or hot dogs. And you see that dog coming towards you, you get ready with a great big handful of food and you throw it right in their face and over their head. Because he's coming charging, I'm going to go bite that dog, I'm going to go say hi. Now, if the dog's in a completely, over-the-top aggressive state, nothing's going to work except hitting it with a baseball bat, probably. But if they're just, a bit clueless and rude, then he's going, I'm coming out. Oh, hang on. Wait, it's raining chicken. You wait there, I'll be back. Now get out, make your escape. People have all these crazy suggestions for things like, because I had a dog-powered scooter at one point, and so don't anyone berate me for that being cruel, but because I don't have it anymore. But anyway, the dog they loved it, but I can see the arguments and I don't do it anymore. But so we'd be going along, and the dog's charging along, and then a loose dog would come. Well, my dog or dogs, you could put several dogs in it, would be fastened in, they're on a harness to the scooter. There was nowhere they could go. So that freaked me out, and I got chased a couple of times. And the dogs, the loose dogs, are like, "What on earth is this thing? What are you doing to that dog?" So they come running along as well, and they're loose. So I'd be on busy road or near busy roads, and I'd be like, "This dog's going to get run over," and there was nothing I could do. I got my scooter and my dog fastened. So I would just throw food at them. But I went online and asked everybody I know, what can we do, and all these suggestions. I was like, that's never going to work. But one of them, they say, open an umbrella. But. Are you all carrying an umbrella when you take your dog for a walk?
You still have to walk in the back of the umbrella.
Yeah. I mean, the most successful I've had is throwing food at them, but it needs to be good food, not boring, dry kibble. And throw it at their face, boom, right in their face, because that gets their attention and over their head as well. It's not foolproof though. I mean, anyway. Okay, so. And that was the thing about, if we keep the dogs there too long, there could be an explosion. See the play bow? See what we mentioned earlier about the elbow? It should be flat down on the ground like that. I love that picture there. That's lovely play bow. That's not too good. We need to get going. There's so many of these slides. Oh yeah, this is important. In healthy play, role reversal is frequent, and the pinning thing, the dog going down. In healthy play, or even healthy communication between dogs, and in wolves in the wild, submission is freely given. It is never imposed on the dog by the other party, physically. So the whole alpha role thing, anyone who does it, please stop, forget it, don't ever do it. And on my handout I've given you there of useful references and recommended reading and what have you, there is a video you can see on YouTube by Dr. David Meck, who actually did the research into the wolves originally, and he in the 70s, and they talked all about alpha and dominant and all that stuff, and it's completely not true. He's retracted his own research, and in that video he actually talks about that, and that's well worth watching if any of you are still kind of going down that road of the whole dominance theory. So as I say, submission is freely given, always. That's so cute. Submissive posture is offered, not forced, voluntarily. This little puppy's being very cheeky. He's really pushing his luck there, I would say. But yeah, I like that point she makes there about leaders don't become leaders by being bullies. It's just like parenting. You don't have to be a pack leader. You need to be a good parent. There's a difference. We don't bully them and boss them around and shove them around. And actually, you shouldn't need to put your hand on the dog to get them to do anything. You should never have to grab them and pull them around and push them around. Nice little border collie in high prey drive. And that's really how all the herding breed dogs are so good at what they do, because they have phenomenal prey drive. It's just under control. And the border collies are phenomenal for watching their communication. You think about how they can control those sheep. You're out in a great big field with hundreds of sheep and there's 3 border collies and they're just controlling them by looking at them. Those sheep, oh, okay then. And there's not an awful lot going on up here with the sheep, is there? So just nice examples of all that. Yeah, how can you tell that's playing, not fighting? Because the mouths are soft and wide open and there's no puckering in a play bow, it's soft. Don't know if she gives any explanation. Yeah, the tails aren't. That's nice communication there. So she says they were running at full speed and the young German Shepherd got too boisterous. So she just hit the ground, looked away and said, I'm done. Cool it. When your dogs are playing, a lot of people let their dogs spar and wrestle and they think that's all okay. And you've got to be very careful about how far it goes because it can very, very quickly turn into something very, very ugly. So that's where the body language thing, being more aware of what you're seeing rather than just leaving them to it, is important. That you can actually say, no, you know, actually, even though there's a lot of noise going on, they are okay, they're playing. When you start to see puckering and whale eye and then it's time to, well, before that, it's time to interrupt. And often just the easiest way to break up this sort of thing is just purely distract them. Just say, okay guys, let's go outside. Boom. Don't have to get in there saying, no, you stop that. No, you stop that. That's just a waste of time. Dogs are so nosy. You go outside, oh, hey, hang on, she's going outside. There must be something there. They're so nosy. They have to stick their nose into everything. They always want to know what's going on. So it's useful. I haven't got time to go through that in any sort of detail, but basically it escalates, like I said. So when you start seeing these behaviours, it goes up a scale. So, you know, the yawning and licking and stuff, that's just all normal communication. Okay, cool it. Okay, good, fine, we're okay. But if the threat or the perceived threat or the stress-inducing factor carries on and on and on, then they start having to escalate what they do. And as it goes up the chart, all the calming signals disappear and you start getting freezing. They just stop everything and they're getting ready to take some action because they've tried everything else. And that's what happens with us when we're interacting with these dogs when we get bitten, is we've ignored all the previous calming signals and warnings and stress indicators, and we're still hitting the dog, or we're still yelling at the dog, or we're still forcing it. And it's just going to keep going up the scale until it finally says, look, I've tried everything with you. How about this? And they don't just bite out of the blue. I mean, there's almost no such thing as unpredictable aggression. It's going to have come from somewhere, unless the dog suddenly gets a brain tumour or something like that. I saw something horrible on Facebook the other day. This woman in Great Pyrenees Rescue, her Great Pyrenees had a brain tumour, and during the night it went berserk and bit her all over her face and everything. It was horrible. So that's very, very rare. Thank God for that. The freeze. By the time the dog gets to the point of freezing, he or she has been through all those other things. But do you know how long that could have taken? It could have taken seconds. So that's why it's so crucial that you guys start looking for this stuff, because it can literally be 30 seconds they've gone through the whole thing, if that, depending on the dog. So when they freeze, well, his mouth's still soft, he's a good boy. But you know they're probably about to get into big trouble. And that's what you should be watching when your dogs are playing together and interacting together. Somebody freezes, something's going down. Freeze can happen in the blink of an eye. I want to show you there's some really good little videos on here. How much time, where are we at? What time did we start? 1:15?
Yeah, 1:15.
Yeah, I got to whiz through with this because I didn't want to spend more than an hour really on this. I've seen that one. There's a lovely one of a little kid. Splitting, that's a useful one to be aware of. When dogs are getting over aroused, if there's 3 dogs or more, see it at the park, see it in your yard, see it in your living room. one of them will come in between and split them up. They just walk in between them, and that calms it down. You can do the same thing. Use your body. The dogs are getting over the top. You can just start walking in between them. Movement really helps calm things down. You know, when people are at the dog park, they stand around chatting. I've seen people at the dog park take their chair, like that great chair you've got over there, Bob. They turn up with this chair and their little, you know, book and phone, and their drink cooler, and they're just sitting there, and off goes the dog. You know, you got to keep moving around, because the dogs are so nosy. They're going to, oh, what's going on? Oh, I'll fight you later. I've got to go over there. If everybody would walk around at the dog park, it would be so much better. There'd be so much less trouble. Yeah, people often misunderstand the splitting when it gets done to humans. So you're trying to hug your husband or girlfriend or whatever, and your dog starts coming to get in between. Sometimes it can be a sign of resource guarding, if you know what that is. I'm sure a lot of you know what resource guarding is. It's when they basically say stuff is mine. No, that's mine. My toy, my bed, my place, my mom. My mum's a big, fat, juicy bone, and I'm guarding it. Get away. So husband comes home, tries to give her a hug. Get off, that's mine. So it can be that, but often it can just be that the dog is a bit stressed and feels the need to say, hey, you two, you're getting too close to each other. I don't like it. This is a nice little video. The little beagle here has really nice communication skills. So they're just playing, and then the little terrier comes in, and he's a bit snotty. So the beagle says, I'm going back in the house. Whoa, no, I'm not. Look what he's doing to him. So he comes in and says, get off you. Don't you do that. Because that border collie is a puppy, and it's stuck by the fence. So let's watch that one again, because it's really good. And do you see how fast it happens? I bet some of you are probably saying, what's she even seeing there? So the border collie's pinned against the fence by the little terrier. It's like, oh no. He says, oh, it seems to be okay. Wait a minute. No, it's not. You're bullying. Look, he's preparing to mount the border collie, actually. Get out. Go on and stay away. Oh, all right then. Nice.
What's the beagle's motivation?
The beagle's protecting the border collie. Yeah, keep the peace. Yeah. And, yeah, just saying, hey, that wasn't nice. I saw you. You were fixing to mount that dog. And you've got him backed up against the fence. That's not nice. Clear off.
So if you saw something like that in your own dogs, you would just let them handle it, and it would be fine? You wouldn't need to intervene?
There's nothing to... It was done.
It's already been taken.
Yeah. I mean, if the beagle wasn't there and the terrier was doing that to the border collie, absolutely, you need to be the beagle. Now, you don't do it the way he did, because you're not a dog, so you can't go in and go unless you've been through training classes with that company who tell their clients to growl and snarl at their dogs and bite them on the back of the neck. Hello.
Hello.
Oh, good boy. You met my husband. He's a good boy. What do you want? You want to go?
When you play the video, can you make the screen larger?
Yes, I think I can. Thank you.
Yeah.
Yes, I'll try. Yeah. Body blocking. That makes a huge difference. If you're passing another dog, if your body is this side or that side, if the dog's past this like this or with people in between, huge difference. Dogs do the same thing. They use the bodies. They'll use your body actually, to hide behind. But you definitely need to be involved when your dogs are playing and interacting. You can have a massive influence by just getting off your butt and walking across the room and going in between them.
It just distracts them, and the movement moves them off.
Yeah.
9 times out of 10.
Kids, people. Why do we humans always want to have our face in the dog's face? It's where the shiny pointy things are. But we just have to get... you're so cool. I do it. Hey. And that's why kids get bitten on the face, because that is the least offensive place for a dog to actually bite in the doggy world. So if they're going to reprimand a puppy, they're going to probably nip them around here or around here. They're not going to go visceral. They're not going for back legs and belly and groin. So if a kid is needing to be reprimanded by the dog, or the dog feels the need to communicate more strongly, unfortunately, they're going to get it on the face, which to us two-legged creatures is our pride and joy. And it's very sad. Hugging, there we go again. We have to do our huggy. They don't like it though. And the petting, you know, that's another thing where often people will say, I don't want to keep using all these treats, Catherine. I'm like, okay, fine, you know, let's use physical praise or verbal praise. So the dog's here, the dog does a fabulous stay, let's say stay, he's doing a lovely stay. So I'm going to go back and I'm going to pet him this time because I'm sick of giving him treats. Okay, so what a good boy, good dog. And he's just like, oh, please. I'm not doing that stay again. So you just technically punished the dog in scientific terms, because what you did was reduce the chance of that behaviour being repeated at the level it just was, because you just punished him. But you think you shut up. Like, I'm not doing that again. So the dog decides, by the way, what the reward is, not us. They decide if something is rewarding for them or not. Food is very rewarding generally, but not always. Not always. How many times you have dogs come into class, Mary-Lee, and they can't eat?
Oh, all the time.
And you say, well, it's hot dogs. He must want it. Not right now, he doesn't. So, you know, for some dogs, the petting is an absolute punishment. Get off!
Well, I recently read an article that I thought was really great, and I've tried it with several dogs because I'm one of those people who like to pet dogs. If you pet a dog, you leave, and you go back. If the dog moves back to you, the dog.
They like it.
If he doesn't want you to be messing with him.
Right. And they'll be telling you, they'll be looking away and turning away and trying to get away, but we could be.
So cute.
Oh, sneezing. And then you let go of them. First thing that happens, big old shake off. Yeah. That's the other thing, great point there, Mary-Lee, about the dog will choose to come back. If you've got two dogs and they're playing rough, you've got a puppy and an older dog, if you want to know whether they really like it or not, take one of the dogs and restrain them, hold them back, and see what the other dog does. If they're really having fun, they'll be right back. But if they don't come right back and they walk off, then you know that other dog was harassing them and they weren't having fun. Dominance move, chin on shoulder. Yeah, this is not a good one. That tells you that they're thinking about probably mounting them. It's very intimidating and it's very rude. Excuse me, this Diet Coke is making me burp. And for the dogs, just look at those two pictures there. Very similar, isn't it, when we get down and grab them like that. They have a lot of stress to deal with us. All those photographs you see on the internet. Look at my baby with our wonderful Doberman and he's climbing all over it. Yeah, don't do it, people. See the Dachshund? Like, can I just get out of here? Can we just get this over with, please? Whale eye on the Doberman. But the people who took that, they've got no clue whatsoever. Look at the little, what's that, a French bulldog? Look at the whale eye, the closed mouth. Look at what he's leaning away like, please. It's almost like we smell bad. We do to them, probably. Oh, I don't. I always smell of cheese and chicken and hot dogs. Oh! Over-loving, unrealistic expectations are the biggest stress on the child-dog relationship. The kids want to be cuddling. Don't do it. Give them stuffy. There's you can get loads of breeds. Melissa and, what's it they're called? Melissa and Doug, isn't it? Yeah. And you can get all sorts of breeds. Get them one of those.
Amazon has all sorts.
Yeah. I'm going to just whiz through here because we've got to get on. I want to show you this kid. I think it's just awesome little kid. Looming. You know, we've said it all. Looming over the dog. Show them some respect. Give them their space. Go sideways. Talked about that. That's a great picture. And obviously they do put up with it. Now that one. Look at that. Look at the crouching back end. Look at the whale eye. Look at the mouth. Look how tense it is. He's trying to say, get off, back up. I want to find this kid though, and then we'll finish this. That lovely golden again. This is dead cute. Oh, and he said I've got to make it bigger. Is that it? Should have told me before. So watch the kid. Sniffing. But this is actually an amazing little video. I want you to see it again. It all happens so quickly. Look at this rude approach. Beagle, don't think so. I'm out of here. Oh, well that didn't work. He's only 2, this kid. Well, let me try this. How about this? How cute is that? He's learning body language before he can speak. Great. Let's hope he remembers it. You're right. Let's hope he remembers it. And there's another one there. Oh, there was another one somewhere I wanted to share. That's another great kid thing. If I can't find it. Here it is. This is sheer genius. I mean, this is just a coincidence, I think. But it shows you how subtle it is and how the dogs are reading the body language. Right, so they want the food. Oh, come on, give us some of that. Come on, come on. The beagle's waiting for him to drop it because it's a kid. He knows that he's going to drop some food probably. So he's staring at the floor. Do you see that? Do you see the kid just moved close? Back off and lie down. He didn't tell them anything. Did you all see that? Let's do it again. It's only a minute. So the kid doesn't really want the dogs quite so close. So back off, back off. But watch what the kid does. He moves, she maybe, a little bit closer to the dogs. See? And bends down. Yeah?
And in between the food and the dogs.
Yeah.
Too.
Slight difference in where the kid is, and that's enough for the dogs. Oh, okay. So just think about that, how grotesque we are in the size of the communication we do with the dogs. When you really don't, you just need to do a bit of that and you'll get an effect. They learn to live with us, obviously. I mean, they accommodate.
A lot quicker than we do.
Quicker than we do. Okay, so...
Take a quick break.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, we don't need this.
Back room.
Yeah, so. Okay, let's get going. You're going to get a written handout. I'm going to run through this on the specific issues that shelter dogs have as regards being introduced to resident dogs. So we're going to talk about that. And then we're going to talk about, well, how should we introduce a dog to our resident dogs? And the whys and wherefores and what have you of that. And I'll be talking about the ideal scenario, which is not always doable, but I think it's good for you to know what the ideal scenario is, so you know what your goals, what you should be doing if we could, and why. So, dogs who have been in a shelter are very often extremely stressed, and it can take up to a year for that dog to actually recover from the experience. It's a bit like people who've been in Guantanamo Bay or jail. When or in the forces, post-traumatic stress disorder, they come out and the last thing they want to do when they get home is come into a surprise party that lasts for a week. They need rest, good food, good nutrition, calmness, they have to go into therapy. They don't need to be meeting lots of new people. You probably don't want loads of kids around. So the same applies to these dogs. They may have been on the street, they may have been owner abandoned or owner surrendered, in the shelter where there's euthanasia going on, it's noisy, there's constantly barking, there's a lot of aggressive displays. It's no fun to be in a shelter. Then they get picked up by somebody from rescue. Then they get taken to the vet and they get prodded and poked and spayed and neutered, and they may be sick. They may have come off the street, they may have wounds, they may have injuries, they may have heartworms, they may have any sort of an illness, they may be on medication. They may have stuff wrong with them that nobody even knows about yet. So there's a little dog who's in the other rescue, one of the rescue groups I deal with, and they rescued this dog and they knew it had been hit by a car, and they had to amputate the back leg. And it was only after they'd done that did they realise that the front leg was broken as well. But then that took a period of time. So we get these dogs out of the shelter, we're rushing around getting them spayed and neutered, and most rescue groups cannot afford to put that dog through full-blown health check, you know. So things will transpire later, especially the more subtle things like the hip dysplasia, as Andy knows. It's not always immediately obvious. So I think we should bear that in mind and give them a bit of, you know, calm and quiet and time. So if you think about that, if you've got a dog from the shelter, if as a foster, if you've got a dog, or you just go and adopt a dog from the shelter, and you bring it home and you've got a house full of dogs, that dog is not necessarily best placed to be ready to party and to be, you know, in the best mood to hang out with all these other dogs. Plus, it presents the resident dogs potentially with a threat, this new dog. And again, to the resident dogs, this can be a bit like you having a house guest. And I personally love having house guests. I love having visitors. People come from England to stay. But you know, it's a bit like they come and they don't bloody leave. So to start with, it's fine. It's like, yay, you know, let's party. It's like, yeah, but you're still here. And now you brought your mates as well. And they're staying. And you're eating me out of house and home. And you're sleeping in my bed. Now we got a problem. So the resident dogs often, if they're very well socialized, well-balanced dogs, will say, oh, hi, come in, let's party. But as time goes on, really, you're still here? And that's when you know, I get the call, well, we got this dog 2 months ago, and now all hell's breaking loose. Well, maybe they weren't introduced in the right way. Maybe the setup wasn't structured in such a way for the dogs to succeed, and now they're failing. So how can we avoid that? What can we do about that? That's what we're going to talk about after the shelter. The specifics of the shelter. So if you got a sick dog and it was, say it had something infectious, you would no way bring that dog into your house and have it with your other dogs. But what I want you to start thinking about today is that the dog may not be sick, but there's still behavior that needs to be thought about that can get that dog into some big trouble. So even though he's not going to infect your dog with a disease, he might infect your dog in terms of the stress that goes on between them that could be avoided, that can then lead to them starting to fight. And we need to avoid that, because if you put that shelter dog in a position where he's going to start fighting with your dogs at some point, he gets a bite history, he's now unadoptable potentially, or a lot more difficult to adopt out. And this applies to the dog biting the foster as well. So it's vital for these foster dogs, these rescue dogs, that they are put in the position to succeed, because they're not in a loving home. They haven't got an owner. So if they bite you, the foster, we got a problem now. If you'd adopted a dog and you owned it and it bit you, well, he's in a loving home and the owner's more likely to put up with that. But it's much more difficult for a rescue group to put a dog out for adoption with a bite history. So we have to make sure that we do everything we can to avoid putting that dog in the position where they may bite somebody. So you have a huge responsibility as a foster. It can cost the dog their life. So I recommend that you picture your shelter dog as if it was sick, and it needs to go into isolation when it comes to your home. And I know a lot of you are probably going to start thinking now, she really is crazy, but I'm going to explain why, and we're going to talk about how. And as I said at the beginning, this is the ideal, this should be your goal, and obviously there are practical challenges to it. And a lot of people, they get the dog, they chuck it in with their dogs, and it all goes fine. Well, great, you got lucky. But it's not going to work forever. So it's very important that you know how to go about it in the right way. And also while you've got them in isolation, you can, you know, see how stressed they are. Are they drinking excessively? That's one of the big signs. You get a new dog, they're drinking the water bowl empty. That's stress drinking. A lot of us do it. I prefer wine, but they will be just literally drinking the bowl dry. Bowl after bowl, you know, so that tells you something. Shedding, drooling, pacing, being aggressive. You know, if you're in pain, you've got a bad back or you've got a headache, you're much less tolerant of anything that bugs you. You're much more likely to be snappy. And the same applies to dogs. Just the very fact they came from a shelter and they're exhausted and they don't know what's going on, and they've just got spayed or neutered. The list just goes on. So they're not necessarily in the best of mood. So it's good not to push them. Or they may be just totally shut down and depressed. It's just not doing it. How many times people say, you know, we got this dog, but gosh, it's a different dog now after the last few weeks. Oh, they're not in how they really are meant to be when you first get them. And even the calm, confident, well-socialized dog will still benefit from that period of relaxation and detoxing. You just need to give them plenty to chew on, play with them, hang out with them, take them for short walks. There's a handout called Calming Treats and Products, which you will also get, and that talks about all the various over-the-counter things that are out there now, and there are lots of them, that you can give these dogs should they need it, that's not veterinarian prescribed, the L-tryptophan, and you don't just write this down because it's all in the handout. Things like the Thunder Shirt and lavender oil, maybe all the back flower essences, rescue remedy, these things can be very helpful. Or not. Again, that's why it's so useful. You should be able to read the dog. That's why previous I was talking about watching them, just watching them and reading their body language. So following the procedure that I'm going to talk about, keeping them separated, can make the difference between life and death for these dogs. So don't underestimate it, please. And I don't think I've really got time to go through all the calming products. So you can read, and I have made a note on them. Use your common sense, be careful and compassionate when dealing with the dog with using these things. For example, the Thunder Shirt is not necessarily the right thing for some dogs. Some dogs you put it on and they just literally shut down. So, read what's happening with the dog. I've written a protocol on how to actually go about bringing the new dog into the home and introducing it. You're going to get this handout, and I'm going to talk you through it, so you don't have to write it down. It's literally step 1, step 2, step 3, and why we do this. So the big thing, the most important thing about this whole protocol is eye contact. No eye contact between the dogs. So that means you can have the dog in isolation, and it can be in the same room as your dogs, provided it doesn't make eye contact. And that means you can crate the dog in such a way, there's lots of practical aspects to this, but let's just stay with the theory at the moment. We're going to keep it separate, no eye contact. And I'm sure you're all, how can I do that? Well, we'll get there. And the reason for this is what we're aiming at is when you bring a new dog into the house, your dogs are going to know. They can smell it, they can hear it, they know that dog's there. What we want them to do is to get totally acclimatized to the fact that the dog is there, but it's not having an adverse effect on their life. So there's another dog in the house, but everything seems okay. My food's still there, my water's still there, my bed, my toys, my mom, my big juicy bed. Everything seems to be okay. Maybe this other dog isn't such a threat, isn't any threat. So how do we know when the resident dogs think it's okay to meet that other dog? How long do we keep them separated? What we've got to do is read the dog's body language. The dogs will tell you. So we do a lot of swapping. We're going to bring the new dog into the house, it's going to run around, and that's where you're watching like a hawk, video it. And they're going to run around, and you'll see them perhaps just very casually rub themselves against the furniture, rub themselves against the wall. Some of them will do it very obviously. Others will be much more subtle about it. They'll just be a quick, I was here too. And I'm all over that dog bed. Then that dog goes into his crate. Out come the resident dogs, and you watch them. The more confident, sociable dogs who are used to being with lots of other dogs and what have you, they're not going to show so much sign of, where's that dog? But the more interest that your dogs are showing, the less likely it is that you're going to have a successful merger. What you actually want is nothing. You want your dogs to come out in exactly the way they would if that other dog wasn't in the house. And until that happens with both dogs, so then you would swap the other dog out, and until that one as well is just wandering about normal, you're probably going to have trouble. And you'll be surprised, your dogs will come, where's that dog? There's a dog in here. I know there is. Where is it? Where is it? And they'll be sniffing and smelling and going around, running around. They go in the yard, they'll find where that dog peed, boom, they're going to pee right on it. That tells you all that arousal, that they've got a concern. So what we want is for them to just come out, oh, that dog's still here, I guess. Still here, yeah. Whatever, no problem. That can take 24 hours, it can take a week, or it can take a month. It depends. So for people who have dogs who are reactive to other dogs, if they're going to adopt a dog, it doesn't mean that a aggressive dog, it doesn't mean they can't live with another dog. It's how you introduce them that's the real deal. And when dogs have, actually had a fight, and Andy, you can back me up, when dogs have fought, the first thing that I'm going to tell them to do is total separation, no eye contact. And Andy's done it, and you haven't had any more fighting. And they're back together, and because he went through the protocol. And I'm not saying it's easy, it's a pain. But if you have got very well socialised dogs, and a lot of you do, so you probably do take fosters and just chuck them in the deep end and it all works out. But just remember, you're putting a lot of stress on your dogs every time you do it. And a lot of people who foster, because of the terrible state of affairs of all these dogs that are out there, you end up fostering a lot. Probably too much for your resident dogs, but that's just how it is. So you're doing your dogs a favour, but you're doing the newcomer dog a huge favour to let them go through this process.
So you just let the new dog, you take your dog out on a walk or something while you let the new dog run around the house?
No, your dogs are wherever your dogs need to be somewhere else, but you do a lot of swapping. So the more swapping you can do, the quicker the process will happen.
But it doesn't matter where they're swapped as long as they're somewhere.
No eye contact. Yeah, they can be in their kennels in your bedroom, and then
They could be outside.
they could be outside, but you're going to let the new dog go all over the place. So not really outside. I mean, if you have to. And again, the practicalities are going to be different for every single person in this room. So the other thing is it's about smell. It's about scent. So the quicker we can get the dogs used to the smell of each other, the quicker the process is going to go. One way of doing that is to take old t-shirts or towels, fabric, rip it all up, rub it all over the other dog, and then we swap those. We'll either fasten them onto the collar or the harness of the dogs, put it in their kennel. You can put those fabrics in Ziploc bags and freeze them to maintain the integrity of the scent. And you know, this is a good thing to do if you've got a visitor from out of town coming, or a kid coming home from college is bringing a dog. Hey mum, I had to have a dog. And you've got a dog at home and your 20-year-old's coming home with a new dog. Tell them to send some stuff ahead. Get a t-shirt, rub it all over the dog, stick it in a Ziploc bag and mail it. And do the same with the others. Start swapping the scent, because they're all about the scent. So by the time they actually meet, they think they already know the other dog. Nothing happens. I mean, I've done it so many times, and you bring the dog out and you get your water hose ready. I mean, you don't know, but if you've done it right, this is what should happen. Now, if the dog is an out-and-out, totally dog aggressive dog, and it hates other dogs, but there aren't many dogs like that. There really aren't. There are lots of dogs who are extremely reactive, and lots of dogs who will get into fights with other dogs, but I haven't come across one yet, actually, where we couldn't get them together.
So yeah, the amount of truly aggressive
Very
dogs
rare.
are very small.
And there is
Mostly
no such
reactive.
thing. There is no such thing actually as a totally aggressive dog. It'd be a dead dog, because if the dog is totally aggressive with humans, he's not getting fed. He's not getting healthcare. He's going to end up dead. So there is only aggressive behaviour. And I remember the first time I heard that at a seminar, I just sat there, what are you talking about? But there is no such thing as a totally aggressive dog. There is just aggressive behaviour. Some of them have a lot of it. But
It's usually fear-based.
it's always fear-based, I think, really. I mean, quantify that. Doesn't necessarily mean the dog is, oh, I'm really scared. But
No,
there's a fear of something
yeah,
happening.
They will be reacting this way if they're sort of like that kind of fear, or they'll be, so they react two different ways.
Yeah.
But one is more an aggressive fear, and one is more of a,
Well, attack's the best form of defense, isn't it?
yes.
But, I mean, even the junkyard dog, you know, the Rottweiler foaming at the mouth behind the chain link fence in the junkyard is operating out of a fear that his territory will be invaded. And that's a resource, isn't it? So he doesn't look very frightened, but the underlying, reason for the behaviour is a fear of something happening that he doesn't want to have happen. But he's not scared.
How do you avoid the eye contact?
Right, so this is where it all gets very practical. It's very much dependent on your situation, what room you've got available, what kennels, what crates, however, but you can have the crates in one room if you're able to position one in such a way, and I always cover it. I memean, the wire crates obviously are more difficult because there's so many places they can see out. But I like the big solid airline and food crates for a bunch of reasons. Because with the wire crates, if your dog has projectile diarrhea, it goes all through holes and all that. Don't like those crates. It's nasty. Sounds like how many people have had that one? Especially with a rescue dog who's stressed out and he's got the.
So if they can hear the other dog, that's okay.
Yeah,
just
you
not
can't do
eye
much
contact.
about that. It's the eye contact. It's crucial, the eye contact, because they can make that eye contact and in that split second, I'll have you. Oh, now we're on. So it makes a huge, huge, huge difference. So we absolutely want to avoid the eye contact at all costs. I've done it with baby gates, with towels over them, with rugs and blankets over them, and you'd be surprised they don't want to know what's behind that blanket. They're not all peeping through, actually, you'd be surprised. But again, you've got to play it by ear to that extent. But to be safe, really, the crates are a good idea, and doors, and as many practical things as you can put in place so you don't screw up. Yes, yes.
Would you purchase the same by bringing a new puppy?
Yeah, yeah. I would never bring in a new puppy and just throw it at it. No, I'd do exactly the same. Any new dog. Have any of you experienced when you take your dog to the vet or the dog park or something and you come back, as you come in the door, the other dogs, if they're on the loose, they'll get into it, like they don't know the other dog. And that's because of the smell. They don't get it straight away. The sort of dogs who are not, necessarily the most well socialized will be the ones who will do that. You bring that in daycare. I was just saying to the girls, I worked in doggy daycare for 4 years. We would take dogs out of the playroom who'd been playing all day to go and do a nail trim. You bring them back through the door. Oh, they'd all come on them. Oh, wait a minute. Oh, sorry. I mean, they just didn't recognise them. Straight in that split second at the door, and I think we probably all know doorways and hallways are hotspots for dogs. So that's, the scent is really, really crucial. When you first get that dog, then you want to make sure that you're paying attention to their stress level and perhaps giving them some of that L-tryptophan or whatever it is. So it'll certainly force you to spend more time with that dog as well, rather than just letting it lump in with yours and threaten their resources. And it's amazing how nice a lot of the dogs are about that, sharing their water bowl and their beds and their toys and letting that new dog be on the bed and all that stuff. That puts a lot of pressure on those people, on those of the dogs. See how I think about dogs. So to make sure I'm explaining. So as I say, all of this is written down in the handout. The more swapping out you can do, the quicker the process will go. Right, how about the actual meeting then? So say we've had them separated and we've got to the point where nobody's showing any excessive interest in the other dog, everything's calmed back down and your dogs are back to how they normally behave. Now we've got to actually introduce them. Ideally, you would do this on neutral territory, but it's not always ideal, is it? So if you're going to do it in your backyard, then you certainly need somewhere where they can be off leash. Again, ideally. We'll get to well, I can't do that. But if they're going to be on a leash, then you would really want to do it on a walk. But ideally, off a leash, or at least trailing a leash, and you let your dogs out one at a time. Put the new dog out there, let your best dog out first. So now we've got, if you've got 3 dogs, you just let them all out there with that dog. They're all bonded and, whoa, who's this? Interloper. So they already have got used to the smell, but there's still, potential for how they're going to respond. So it's always best to introduce your most calm, stable dog, sociable, friendly dog to the other dog. And then they have a chance to actually bond a little tiny bit. And if you can, I wouldn't even bring the other ones out straight away. I would do those very gradually. Just keep them all calm. And again, you're going to get more scent because they're going to touch each other probably. And so that dog's now going to start smelling more of that dog. So then when he's back with his other dogs, they're getting more scent exchange. More scent exchange is crucial. If you can let them off in a baseball field or a big field, fenced field, then the better. But most people don't have access to that. That's the problem with that. And I would have something ready. So if you're in your backyard, definitely would have a water hose with the jet, with a gun on the end set on jet. Because if something does go down, if you've screwed up and something goes wrong, then you need to be able to do something about it quickly. Keep moving. You know, don't be tempted to just stand there and go, do you think this is going to work? We're going to be okay. Because that's what the dogs do. They go, we go, and they go. So, you know, it's, oh look, here's a new dog in the yard. Come on, Fluffy, let's go over here and play ball. No big deal, whatever. But we're very, you know, we are tempted to just stand there and watch. And they feel it. They feel it. So if we haven't got anywhere like that and we're going to have to do walking, then let's take them out on the street, on leash, far away, or a parking lot, and just lots of distance between them. We're not looking for a reaction. We don't want anything to happen. Right? So we want our, you know, don't feel so, don't worry if your dog's not doing anything. Good. That's what we want, yeah. You know, we don't want your dog to be straining at the leash to get to the other dog. We want it just to be, oh, that dog, that old dog. Right?
Still good for babies.
Yes. Actually, when Laurel comes back with Jinx, we'll see what Jinx does with Stuffy, because everyone, they think he's good. So you would start walking. Well, like, what's she doing? What am I doing? Yeah, you would start walking parallel. So way over there, way over here, and you want the dogs to be doing nothing until you can get closer, and they're still doing nothing. We don't want any reaction at all. Very casual, calm interest time. But if there's any sort of higher arousal, it's not going to be good. You can also do the walking from behind. So put the most stable, friendly dog in the front and the other dog behind, and let them get closer and closer. But again, if they're, oh, give me that butt, no, probably not going to be so friendly. I mean, it's not polite. That's what we're looking for, almost. Laurel, I just put Stuffy here for Jinx to approach. Can everybody see? Can everybody see? Yes? Yes. Everyone's still, we've all lost their tongue. Just start walking over here and we're just looking to see what we see, okay? Body language. Jinx. Just let her do whatever she wants to. Nice. Looking to see if he's got equipment. That's nice though, isn't that nice? That's nice body language. That's lovely. And I'm done. See that? And I've had enough. I've seen enough. And that's something to bear in mind with your dog. She just very clearly said, I've seen everything I need to know. You're not doing me any harm, but I'm done now. And when you see people with their dogs and the dog makes that sign and they can't get away, that's when you can get into trouble. And with puppies, you know, puppies are playing. You'll see them, they're with another dog, and you can see they're kind of, I want to go. Get them out of there. Don't leave your puppy having to be, you know, have another dog in its place.
That was a female.
See, now this is different because it's head on. See? Oh, I don't think I want to, I'm not sure about it. Look. Just leave the leash really long. Get it out. Don't do it. Yeah, see? So whenever I introduce any dog to Stuffy, I always present the butt first. It's the most likely way to get a better greeting. You're sticking that this way, they go, no, she knows he's here. You know, she doesn't need, she says, I see him.
She is so
I totally see that. Don't make me. You good girl.
Quick question.
He's a good boy. Did you say hi? No, I don't want anything to do with it.
Quick question. So when they're meeting, my dog will not let another dog smell her blood. Okay? Because she's the dominant one. So what I've been doing, I don't know if it's right or wrong, but I'll usually pick her up and introduce her butt to the new dog. Just so that,
But why do you think she's the dominant one? What do you mean?
she will not let another dog sniff her, especially
Well, I would
first.
venture to suggest she's probably quite the opposite. Because a really confident, calm, sure of themselves dog could tell us who sniffs their butt.
Really.
She's probably, don't be my butt. That's my butt. I don't know what you might do. That doesn't sound confident to me. Does she get aggressive about it? I mean, does she go, get off?
Only if they overstep their bounds.
Right, so she's not sure of herself. See, Mr. Stuffy, I've absolutely no problem with okay, sure, I don't care. The confident dog just basically doesn't have to do all that stuff because they know you push it, I'll have you. I don't know. I don't have to do it. It's like the, the little, what do they call it, little man syndrome in the bar, the little guy who goes around causing bar fights. They're not confident. They're not sure of themselves. So she's just not comfortable with having that done to her, and she can't handle it. She doesn't like it.
Okay.
So I would, you see again, that's a great question because it goes back to all the body language. By the time she goes, no, get the hell off my butt, she's probably done lookaways and lip licks. I mean, that was, Jinx was just awesome. Who needs the presentation? She was just telling us volumes. I would no way drag that dog over there to me. She's saying, okay, I see it, but thanks, no thanks. And that's what your dog's saying. So you can work on that. You can, take the dog and start giving them treats and rewarding them for letting the other dog get near so they start to positively, associate having my butt sniffed isn't so bad, I get a piece of chicken, maybe I'm not going to die. But by you're flooding her, by picking her up and forcing her, it's actually probably not making, well, has it got any better?
It's been, we've introduced over 30 dogs now, and it's always been the same one. She has never allowed them to do it, and she's always been the most dominant dog at the house.
What do you mean by that?
When we have like two fosters, one dog some people know as Cara, she attacked every dog that we had the time that we had her, except my dog. She was afraid of. Wendy was the same way. When we go into our bedroom, Sadie will walk in, lay down right about 3 feet in, and every dog will not come into the bedroom.
Probably resource guard. Remember the beagle with the box of food in the presentation, the slideshow? The beagle with the cardboard boxes, the beagle in the kitchen? That's insecure, really. I mean, it's disproportionate to reality these days. She may be a bit of a resource guarder. She's going in the bedroom and claiming the space.
Right, then we do, like you had said before, we would just stand in front of her. The new dog would come in, and then she would be fine.
Right. Yeah, she's probably guarding it. Does she guard other stuff? Toys, beds, water bottles?
No, just our bedroom.
And they don't always guard by giving out lots of loud noise, lots of growling, stuff like that. You saw that beagle, wasn't doing anything. Just sitting there. So let's open it up then. We're already over time. Well, actually, not too bad on time. But I'm sure you've got lots of questions about the separation thing, yeah? Oh, that's just, if we get on to that was, well, where's Dixie? Where's Dixie? That was just, I just wanted to mention to people about, ways of keeping dogs busy, and this is one of the challenges of, there should be twice as many balls in here, by the way. So if there were lots and lots of balls in there, it would be more challenging, but it just gives you the idea. You can put the balls in a bucket as well, a big tote or something, but the problem with that is, that's why I just love this, is that they kick the balls out and then you've got to pick all the balls up. They'll be all over the place. So this works great. You can do it in a big crate, or you can just put this up against a wall, put loads of balls in, other stuff, so that she has to actually work her way around to find them. The more balls, the better.
All of the dogs always got a big sort of basket that's on the floor. We do the same thing, just sort of sprinkle treats into that basket.
Yeah, let them dig
They have
around.
to dig through all their
Yeah,
toys.
that's great.
And this is just for entertainment or for what
It's
purpose?
to keep them busy.
Okay.
They get so bored. The dogs are bored.
It's great mental stimulation. It's something you can do inside in the summertime.
Yeah.
Okay.
Again, it's just showing, that they like to sniff around and find bits of food, don't they? And that's something that you can do just as a principle, is give the dog something else to do. There are scenarios that come up again and again when you know the dog's going to do something you don't like. My dog jumps on everyone who comes to the house. Well, don't let them. Give them something else to do. There's so many things you can give your dog to do. If you're not going to do the training, okay, don't do the training. Don't teach your dog to sit to greet a stranger. Give them something else to do. Because guess what? This is the laziest form of dog training there is. Give your dog something else to do, and then it's getting rewarded for actually behaving in the way you want it to when the visitor came through the door. We've now got a dog with all 4 feet on the floor. This is challenging enough, I only thought of this at once. She's getting rewarded for keeping all 4 feet on the floor. Say she was a big jumper. So as soon as somebody comes in, boom, here, stuffed Kong, tricky treat ball. Does anybody know about the orange ball, the tricky treat ball? Actually, I'll show you something.
It's really easy. Just keep a bowl of dry kibble. So watch this brings the dog off the floor.
The only thing about the kibble,
They don't care about people.
the only thing about the kibble is if it's not high value enough. For a truly sociable dog who really, really wants to go and say hi, kibble isn't going to cut it. Yeah. I like these little zooks when you
Throw chicken
Or
Zoom
a
chicken.
dog that's not food motivated.
These are great little treats. Yeah, they're very expensive in the pet stores, but I buy them on Amazon. We've got Prime, and I get these for like $7.50 a bag. They're $23 a bag at Choice Pet. Seriously, people. Shocking. Amazon Prime, love it. But all these things, this is how these dogs, and border collies are so smart, they're so driven. It's just constant challenge to keep dogs like that busy. But the way you feed them, don't feed them from a bowl. I mean, the only people who should be feeding their border collies from a bowl probably are people who are competing all day long in agility, and the dogs are just worn out. But the average pet dog, that's what all these things are for. And I've got the tricky treat ball in. Oh, hello. Is that a breakout?
My new favorite person.
Actually, this up. Let's give us some of these. We love feeding dogs, don't we?
She likes eating.
Of course she likes eating. Who doesn't like eating? The other thing about these devices, the tricky treat ball is about that big. It comes in 2 sizes, but it's bright orange and it's got dimples all over it. And they can pick it up and relocate it, and it drops the food out a piece at a time. So they're more likely to chew it. It keeps them busy, out of mischief. They're on the move, and that's what I like. I like them being on the move. Stuffed prongs are great, but that requires the dog kind of staying still. I think for a lot of the young active dogs, they're much better if they can push this stuff around.
So you actually feed them now?
Every meal should be coming from some sort of gadget.
Just call the one with the cylinder in the middle and the cage on.
No, it's just rubber, kind of softish rubber. The good thing about it is it doesn't make a lot of noise.
Yeah.
Do not. Woo, don't trip me. Go get it. Is she not used to working for her food? She's not. You see, she's not used to working for her food. So what do you expect me to do? This seriously?
In 30 seconds or less.
Well, take the food and just throw it all around the house. Throw it all around the room. Throw it all around that side. Not if you've got fire ants, and don't throw it in the flower bed because she's going to dig it up. Use your common sense. But if you've got a big patio, a deck, just a plate. There's the trick. Thank you. Super. I'll tell you something else about this to know is the inside comes out. This is softish. When it gets cold, that's hard to get out, so you soak it in hot water. Put it in the top rack of the dishwasher because they get slobbery. Hey, lazy dog. You are lazy. Look.
I don't have to work.
She's lazy. She just doesn't get it. She's not used to it. Oh. This is the Omega Paw Tricky Treat Ball, and that's the con. Do not use that in your house if your dog is strong enough to pick it up, because they can pick it up and throw it straight through your television. My Labrador can pick one of those up and throw it.
Unrelated. I've about, I have 2 dogs who are well socialized, although both rescues, so one is, he'll always be shyer and more submissive. He's bigger than the others. They get on very well together, and introduced the new foster last week. And she's lovely. She's about a year-old dog, a lot of spit in it. She's a herding breed, but a border mix. And so I have one border collie who's probably the smartest and most able of the bunch. And so little one comes in, she's wonderful. She's got a couple of behaviors I'd like to work on to make her a good citizen. One is that the other 2 are wonderful walkers. We walk 30 to 45 minutes every day. They're not particularly reactive about other dogs. They like them. They'd like to meet them. They greet them and they move on. There's no barking. So she's joined the pack, and so they walk well together, the 3 of them, but she's very reactive to everybody. Starts barking and pulling on the leash, which then makes the other 2 think, maybe we need to participate in this.
Well,
Have the
least
dog
reactive
chorus.
behaviour. You can't walk them together.
Well, she shouldn't go with them.
No.
Okay.
It's not now. There's no point. It's just going to get worse.
Okay, so she should have her walk separately. And if she behaves that way when walking, what's the best way to start correcting that behavior?
There's a 3-day seminar on that called BAT, by Gracious Stewart, that you can go to. If only there was a simple answer to that.
Oh, okay.
Oh my God.
Because I love how the others, it's very nice.
I mean, I don't mean to be flippant, but it's such a huge subject that, I mean,
Okay.
it would be
But
hours.
is it worth buying the book and
Yeah,
trying to
it's a great book.
apply the
It's a great
techniques
book.
on my own?
You can buy the DVDs. DVDs.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Greece is great. But the problem with BAT for me is that you need to be able to control the environment. So on-leash reactivity is probably one of the most difficult things that people like us have to deal with. Because you can't control when the other dog is going to appear. So the BAT program basically operates on you setting up the scene. Okay, we've got a dog who goes ballistic on leash right now. We need to find a stable dog. We need to go over there, and this environment, that criteria. Well, in the meantime, my client says, "But I'm walking my dog every day." And the neighbour came out. Well, I think what to do. The neighbour came out with their dog. That wasn't on our plan, was it? So it's very, very difficult. But there are a lot of things you can do to make things worse. So first of all, you have to make sure you're not doing any of the things that make it worse. Number 1, always walk your dog in a harness. Do not have a leash attached to a collar, collars for tags. The reason for that is that I don't care how nicely any dog walks on a collar and leash, there's a risk if you put a leash on a collar that at some point that dog could get a hellacious yank by accident, not deliberately. And that can in itself cause serious behaviour fallout because they can do one-time learning. So say you've got a young dog and he's going to class and he's walking beautifully on leash, never pulls, da-da-da. But just as it happens, you're walking along and for the first time he sees a Sikh in a turban with his wife, who's from some other country, and she's an Arab covered up with a baby stroller. And he's never seen people like that. And they come out the house, and just at that moment, you trip and you step on the leash, and he gets yanked to the ground at that moment. That can actually mean he will think that that little scenario was responsible for what happened to him. So the next time he sees them, he's going to freak out, or he's going to have a problem with it. So you want to just remove any possibility for anything that you're doing that makes it worse. So you certainly, when you see the other dog and your dog starts going, or whatever, you do not go, stop it. You don't force him into a sit, because let's go right back to the beginning. What is he doing? He's behaving, right? He's giving signals. He's communicating. And that is distance increasing behavior, maybe. Or it might be distance decreasing behavior. And that's what's the most important thing, is that you know what the dog is trying to achieve by the lunging and barking. Because the frustrated greeter is saying, "Hi, I'm over here. Can we play? Come on, please. Oh, let me go and play. Get off this leash. Come on, I'm over here. I always say hi to every dog. Because my mum socialised me so well from a puppy. I say hi to every dog." Well, mum gets fed up with that, as the dog gets older. Well, we're done with socialisation, sweetie, now, so we'll just walk down. Oh, no. Hi, hi, hi. Oh, hello. What a good party. Now, just on this note, this dog's definitely got the idea that walking up to me at the moment and sitting down is a good plan. So guess what we've got? If we were trying to teach this dog to actually sit on command or on cue,
Distance decreasing behavior.
There I am, yeah. Then what we do is, obviously, we wait for her to sit, but now she's got the idea, well, I'll just stay here and she'll keep feeding me. So what we're working on now is actually stay, isn't it, if you think about it? Right? So I don't want to work on stay, I want to work on sit, but she won't repeat the behaviour. Well, guess what, she will now. It's carpet, it's the exact same thing. So, throw the treat somewhere else. Remember this, throw the treat. Whatever you're working on, if you want that behaviour to be repeated, and the dog's got the message, so say you're trying to teach them to go on their bed. They're going to get on their bed. Once they've got it, like, well, I'm just staying here. Well, no, I need you to keep doing the behaviour. The behaviour is get on the bed. The behaviour we're working on here is sit your butt down on the ground. Okay, good. So now she's up again. Good. Hello, where's Miss Jinx? Hi. Good dog. She just put it in her mouth. So once you throw the treat, also it takes a bit of pressure off, gives the dog something else to do. They can, hello, what's it good? I'm never going to do, where's my cheese? This is the wrong colour. And she's not used to it. This dog needs to get a job. She goes, I am so excited. Yeah. She wants to start working. So yeah, you get more repetitions, don't you? You throw the treat, you're going to get more repetitions. Otherwise, they'll be sitting there. Come on. Good. You can be watching TV while you're doing this. Good. And that's her dinner. There's her kibble, every piece. Hello. Bit of exercise, takes the pressure off, and we get another repetition without telling her anything. She gets nothing for that. No eye contact, no talking, no touching, nothing. Hey! Hi! So that's capturing. Wait for the behaviour to happen, reward the heck out of it. Now, we don't want jump sits, and you must count to at least 3 before you reward the sit. Or you end up with jump sit. And now the dog's being empowered, she's actually making a choice in the face of huge distractions to come back. Oh, that was too far. She's just not used to this. Go. Now we know why, because her mum picks it up for her. Hey, Jinx! Are you a good dog? You are. Ooh. That's one of the problems that jumping up. Right, so do not, she gets nothing for that. Don't look, don't talk, don't say off, don't touch her, don't push her, don't hold her feet, nothing. Hey, where is she? She's a good dog. Come back. She says, there might be some more. So you just carry on watching the television. Until you get lots and lots of reliable repetitions of that behaviour, you're not going to name it. You're not going to tell her to sit. You're going to teach her what the word means. Like I said at the beginning, when you teach kids to speak a language, if you were a mom and you're going to teach your kid to skip, you don't go up to your 2-year-old and say, skip your route, skip, not skipping. You stand there and you go, Mummy's skipping. And the kid go, oh, skipping, oh, I don't know. So that's what it's the same with the dog. I'm not going to tell her to sit. Going to keep practicing until she's really reliably offering the behaviour. Then we can start naming it. Hello. And I'm not luring her. I'm not bribing her. Hello. Hey, are you a pretty girl? So now she's thinking. Now what did I do last time? I jumped up, but she didn't give me a damn thing for that. Right. I got up there. So I should put her on the leash. Because this is how you can teach your dog sit to greet a stranger when you go in the shelter. So, you don't have time in the shelter to start waiting for the behaviour. You're going to have to use some luring. So that's where you would get a piece, that string cheese that comes individually wrapped is used. I just cut this up a big block. But you want something that you can keep feeding the dog with without having to reach for small pieces. So this is where you would start luring the dog. Now, the dog sat. Great, we fed it. Now what? We need it to get up. Lure it forward. Little bit. I'm not giving it great big pieces. And then you need a partner, you need somebody else. So why don't you, she jumps all over you, so let's get you to do it.
Mostly it's when I'm sitting.
So now I'm going to give the leash to you, and the treat to you, and she's just going to get some bits of that. Don't look at it. Just wait, yeah, just take the shoes off. Just stay where you are. Keep the treat behind your back. Hello. So now you can just lure her forward then, she's staying there. Often what they do is they come back to the person who gave them the treats in the first place. And then you, I saw that. No, zero, nothing. What did you do? Absolutely nothing. Yeah, so that's kneeing the dog. They don't get that. And in fact, if you were going to do it for it to work, you'd need to do it like that and catapult her across the room. And I don't think that's a very nice thing to do to a dog. Let's have another one. Wendy, could you come and take the lead? You stay exactly where you are. And then you just give the lead to Wendy. And the treat. And you stay where you are. No, stay where you are. Great. If she says go, then you can't touch. So the eye contact is very important. Now do keep her in the treat. Go give her? Yes, go give her. Now what we got? Thank you. Now you can lure her forward so she gets up, so she can sit down again, right? Good. Let's have a demonstration. Do you want to come and, sorry, what's your name, Link? Do you want to come and, I just want to show you how you can quite quickly get a dog to sit to greet a stranger. We haven't taught her, we're not asking her, we're not telling her anything. So I want you to give her the treat and the leash, and then you just stay where you are. The treat and the leash. Back. And just stay where you are. Don't move. Just stay where you are. Okay. Oh, escaping. Let's get the leash from out. There you go. Look, quick, treat. Lovely. Have you got any more food? You've got food. So now then you would either take a little step back or you can lure her forward by sticking. There we go. Now stand still and feed. Okay, come. Another volunteer. Anyone just somebody. Yeah. So you're going to give the leash and the treat to the other person, and you're going to stay exactly where you are. You're ignoring her now, Betty. Completely, utterly ignoring her. Now, if you don't get anywhere, just stay where you are. If this goes on too long, then you can lure her again. But let's just shorten the leash a little bit, just to bring her in. So there's a lot of distraction here, and this is what would happen in shelter, a lot of distraction. So let her know you've got the cheese. Just waft this past her nose. Now she's back up. Treats. Lovely. And lovely. And again. And again. Can we have anybody? Brenda, anybody? So what we're doing is you use like a stick of something, like a hot dog, and just feed out a little bit. We're not giving whole big pieces. There we go. That's great. You can go. Actually, what's great is if you just get one volunteer after another. Just stay where you are.
Look at her walk and sit.
Not too much. Not too much. Yes, you're not giving a great big piece of Brenda. Now you're going to lower her back yet. Now she's going to
Look at her walk and
just
sit.
stay where you are. Now you go up, take the leash from there, and Brenda, you're not giving her any more treats. Brenda! Okay, now Brenda must stop talking. Hello? Brenda, yeah, you must, the person who was feeding, when the new person comes up, you must stop doing anything. Because what we want is the dog to generalise that going up to, yeah, the leash is under everything. There we go. So you ignore her, yeah, you ignore her. But if she were to sit in front of Brenda, then you would treat her. So keep your leash a bit shorter. Well, there's so much, there's a lot going on. And you can either do what you're doing, like take a step back, or you can use the food just to lure her forward, which she doesn't get anything for that, and then you can give her a treat. Can we get another volunteer? Anybody? Yeah, Bob. So you have the
I was
leash
thinking it was
and the
me.
cheese bar,
It's, this
and you
is
stay where
the
you are.
return, so it's showing you right here in the doorway, up front, and it's a little bit
Now what?
in the afternoons and the evenings and stuff. It's really hot in that front area.
Is she nibbling on your hands? No. She's sweet. Yeah. Another volunteer who's coming? Oh, great, Marley. Bob's going to give you the leash and the treats. Yeah. Don't treat when she's not sitting. Okay. Right, Marilyn, you go and just take the leash in the garden. And dogs will generalize this pretty quickly, actually. You'd be surprised. And you know, no one's asked her to do anything. No one's told her. Nobody said sit. Nobody's done a handstand up, nothing. And the whole point is we don't want to have to tell her because we want her to think that the best thing she can ever do is walk up to the two-legged creatures and sit down. Because you can't be there telling your dog to sit all the time. They should have their manners. It's like parents sending their kids to school. You can't go with them. Okay, well, you can play with her as long as you want. We've got to do questions, haven't we? Questions and answers. Okay.
How do you, when you're adding like a puppy or a new dog, how do you prevent or retrain resource guarding?
First of all, resource guarding is a very natural behaviour. If I'm eating my dinner in my lovely, gorgeous
He's out eating your dinner.
I was going to say, I bet he's eating something somewhere. Well, if I don't eat quickly enough, he'll be looking at my food and say, and I don't like that. I don't share very well. Go. No. And I will say, get off, don't even look at my food. No, and really there's no reason why I shouldn't say that. I mean, dogs will guard their stock. The problem is when it gets dangerous. And some dogs kind of just come like that. And it's a combination of genetics and also socialization.
Again, keep the camera now on her.
Well, that's pretty much it. So, can you ever truly rehabilitate a resource garden?
Okay, excellent.
I find that very tricky. But what you can do is try to help them not be in the position to feel the need to do it so much for a start. Make sure you're not doing anything to make it worse. Is it food, toys, locations?
Well, I'm just actually,
Well, some of them guard the air.
Yeah.
Actually.
I'm just wondering in general if there's anything you can do to minimize it.
Right. If we're talking the dogs guarding their stuff against other dogs, that's one scenario. If the dog guards their stuff against humans, that's another.
Yeah,
That's
dogs.
the easiest.
Dog to dog.
Right. The dog to human is easier for me, but and that's something everyone should do with their dogs when they're feeding, when they're eating, whatever. Even if it's a trick or treat, well, they should associate the arrival of a human with good stuff for them. So you don't go around taking the dog's food away and sticking your hand in their bowl and all that stuff. When they're eating or they've got a yummy bone, go and give them another one. Go and give them some more food. Oh, Fluffy, have you got a bone? Look what I've got another one here. We want them to think, yippee, here comes the two-legged creature, not, oh God, here comes the two-legged creature. They're always taking my stuff. Because if a 2-year-old child is not being supervised and approaches a dog who feels like that can be ugly. So that starts in puppyhood, basically, teaching dogs that we give them stuff, we're not taking stuff away. And we teach them leave it and drop it and all that, that's education. But as regards towards other dogs, I would say, especially if there's a danger element, the bigger the dog, the more potential danger there is if they get into a fight and you get bitten. It's even more important to resolve it, is to make sure that you don't make them feel worse. So feed them separately. We don't want to feed, Fluffy here and Rover here, and Rover's eating real fast and Fluffy's there going, he's going to get my food, he's going to get my food. Physical barriers, feed them physically separately from one another. If you give them high value things like rawhides and bones and stuff like that, give it to them in their kennel or behind the baby gate. Keep them physically separated. But a lot of it, I think, that sort of behaviour will come about in a multi-dog household where maybe there isn't such great parenting or knowledgeable parenting, so the dogs feel they need to take care of stuff themselves. Maybe there's a history that the parents have let the other dogs just take their stuff all the time and they mind. Some dogs don't care. Super confident dogs like, oh, you can have it, I don't care. So long as there's not a lot of tension going on, but it's still not very polite, is it? For the other dog to keep taking their stuff. So it's about running interference, but just management will get you through a lot of trouble, a lot of problems.
When you was talking about his dog not letting other dogs sniff her butt,
yeah.
And you said that had to do with not being secure. What are some of the things that you can do for a dog who's not just secure to make them feel secure and be a confident dog?
That's a good question. There's a lot of things you can do. I mean, provide a consistent, stable environment. Be that predictable parent, not, oh, I love you. No, don't. Keep things predictable in that sense. Confidence building exercises. Depends where their area of trouble is, because there's so many things. Are they scared of strangers? Are they scared of loud noises? So you would obviously want to specifically work on the things they've got the biggest problem with. But just in general, building confidence, empowering the dog feels huge confidence. Like just the way I was working with her with the sit, when you just throw the treat over there, every single time she came back, she made a choice. She didn't have to. She could have taken off and gone straight into the restroom. She could have gone over there. She could have gone anywhere. But she said, I think I'll go back and play with her again. That's empowering. It's very subtle confidence building. Sometimes it can be in the form of activities that you do. Agility can be great for building confidence. Things like this even. I mean, some really fearful dogs, first of all, they're scared of the ball. Ooh, what's that? Never seen anything like that. But it's got my breakfast, now what am I going to do? Ooh, And you'll see them, they get closer and closer, and ooh, food came out, really? And they kind of look around. And then they'll get it, and then maybe it'll go under a chair, under a table. And you see, really, I've dealt with a lot of puppy mill dogs who are just terrified of everything. And, they'll be looking at it like, oh, it's under there, what am I going to do? And then eventually go, oh, okay then. And just going under a table for them is a challenge. And then when they get it, they go, oh, thank you. I did that. So little things like that. If they're terribly, terribly fearful and anxious and stressed out, then they may need one or some of those calming products that I've mentioned in the handout that, have they got it?
Yes,
You've got it, thank you. They may need some stuff like that for a while. The pheromones can be really good. The plug-in and the collar and the spray. Those are very helpful.
Pills.
Pills? There's no DAP pills. I know.
No, not that I know.
No, this is dog appeasing pheromones. But one caveat to that, those aren't really, the DAP, dog appeasing pheromones aren't really going to work with dogs who weren't with their mother very long because it won't really mean anything to them. So we don't always know in rescue how long the dog's
I
been.
don't think they were notable, I think it was liquid.
Yeah.
There was nothing. Lavender's fine.
No. Oh, and that's another point, you know, the lavender, I love lavender. I'm completely obsessed with it. I mean, I put it in my tea. I've got lavender buds to put in my tea. That's how much I like it. But not all the dogs like it. And I was talking to another trainer a while back, and that's what made me really think about that, was that she said she'd always heard that lavender is calming, and she said she put some on herself and felt nauseous. She hated it. She felt sick. So it really got her thinking, well, what if the dogs don't like it either? What if it's too strong? You know, you better dilute it a lot. And there are, you know, just experiments. See how the dog reacts. It's not guaranteed that it's going to work. So, like all those things I've said in that the calming thing, handout you've got, doesn't mean it's going to work for every dog.
And I don't think they're meant to be used long term either. They're just there to help
Yeah.
get, you know, for several weeks or a couple months to get them over that while they learn, okay, life's okay. This is, I've made it through this, and it helps that transitional phase. And then you can, you know, back them off of that and see how they do.
Now, what about a dog, like I knew my dog, he's a rescue dog, he's about 4 or 5 years old. I have no idea what his history is, but he's wired. I mean, he is just so wired, and he can calm down when I'm working at the desk, but when I look back, he's ready
Brain work
to get up.
is exhausting.
Yeah.
She was yawning her head off here now. You see, I've stressed her out with all this education and knowledge. She's exhausted. No, but it is tiring. Learning is tiring. Focusing on something and trying to absorb it and thinking it through, it's tiring. And actually teaching those dogs things, you know, that can calm them down a lot. Just teaching touch is my favourite. Like every dog should know some targeting, but hand targeted touch. Dogs getting all excited and out of control. Hey, come over here. Touch, touch, touch. Oh, wait, touch. I can do that.
Oh,
Yeah. Touch will get you out of all sorts of problems. You're going along on the street, your dog's about to go crazy, you see another dog or something it's scared of. Touch. What? There's another dog over there, but hang on. Touch. Yeah, I know, but there's a touch. Touch. Knock yourself out. Touch, touch, touch. Oh, we've passed it. Oh, that was good. Or you go into a place and the dog is scared. You're walking around a pet store and the dog's a bit nervous. Touch. Oh, I know that. I feel good when I do that. I like that game. Everything should be a game. You're not going to get optimum performance if it's not a game. If the dog's under duress, he's not functioning at optimum level. But touch is so easy to teach. On that handout it says go to my Facebook page, Be Kind to Dogs, and under the Files tab there's a whole load of written handouts there that you can download. And teaching touch is on there. It doesn't really get much easier than teaching touch though, does it?
No.
How's that dog? Well, basically, stick your hand out. 9 out of 10 dogs come up and go, I'll be your dog. Yeah. Touch.
I get a treat.
You get a treat.
That's pretty simple. Yeah, but you have to remember you have to mark that behavior. So the minute their nose touches, you go yes, and then you treat them.
Yeah. And that's one behaviour where I do say the word. I'm big into capturing rather than luring, but that's one where you can say the word free down.
Yeah.
And you can just sit and watch TV. You know, I do in-homes, right? I go and visit the average family pet owner in their home. They don't have this level of interest that you guys do. You know, they just want the dog to behave. Just want him to do that. Okay, well, can you get a big bowl of dog food and put the game on the television? Oh, please let him do that. Right, well, you don't have to even look at the dog, because all you have to do is sit there with your feet up, with your beer and your hot dog or whatever, and watch the game. But you stick your hand out, and the dog, keep him on a leash if you have to. If he comes up, oh, hey, cold. Just, so every time you feel that cold, wet nose on your hand, done.
And really, I mean, that sort of thing, I train service dogs for people with disabilities, and somebody donated a little poodle for our hearing dog program, and he lived in a home for a year and a half, and he was spoiled rotten, you know, just...
Of course, so he should be.
Right, carried around all the time, wasn't socialized, so he came into our training program, and the first couple of weeks that I worked the dog, he was scared to death. He was put in the kennels with all these other big barking dogs next to him, and I don't think he slept for a couple of weeks. When I would get him out and I would work him, just the doing eye contact with him and teaching the game to look at me, He would actually fall asleep on me. But I took this dog and I had 2 months in order to socialize him and take him out in public and take him on elevators and have him go into restaurants and all of that. And so what I taught the dog, because he was scared of everything, the environment was just so scary to him, I taught him a touch stick for about a month. I didn't take him out in public, and because he was little, so I didn't want to be, going around the mall with my hand. So I taught him an actual stick. It was an extension of my hand, and I taught him this touch stick. And within probably 2.5 months, that was the whole formal training, he was walking through the mall just with that touch stick that I would use when he'd notice something, I'd put the touch stick out and he'd touch it. It just gave him the confidence, It just gave him the confidence because he had so much success with the touch stick and it was so rewarding and it was fun for him and he was gaining confidence. And I took it out in public. It just made everything out in public not scary because he had one thing that gave him the confidence, which was the touch stick, and I just paired those two out in public, and he's a working dog today.
That's great.
And an older lady, but he works. So touch sticks that touch command,
Phenomenal.
yeah, is a huge one for dogs to, redirect them. Give them something known for those fearful dogs. Give them something that they know and is super rewarding and confident.
Yeah, and every time they do it, oh, that was easy. That wasn't so scary. You can make one of these yourself, wooden spoon with a ping pong ball on the end or something. And the other thing about touch, you can use it for exercising. Your dog likes jumping. Okay, knock yourself out. Touch, touch, touch. Boing, boing, boing. Raise the criteria. You can move your dog around as well if they can do touch. So instead of saying, come here, come on, come around here. You don't have to. Just touch. Touch. Okay, here we go. Touch. You got to go through that. Touch. Fantastic. Awesome. Recall. You've never taught your dog to come, but you've taught it touch. Guess what? If he knows what touch really means, it means get over here as fast as you can and touch my hand. What's going to happen? You're at the dog park, you're out, your dog barges out through the front door, he's headed off down the street, and you go, Fluffy, touch! Oh, hang on, I'll be back in a minute. Okay, I did it. So instead of, you don't even have to teach come if you don't want to, do you? Teach a really, really good touch. But people forget to use it, I think.
Yeah. You're going to panic.
It's so easy to teach, and just use it.
And another really good thing for recall, when you give dogs treats, you usually say, come get a cookie. Cookie's a great recall
Cookie's
word.
your come word.
Yeah.
I had a she said, I can't stand this. My dog will not come when called unless I say the word treat. I'm like, well, that's your recall. No, he should come when I say come, not treat. He doesn't know what treat means anyway. You trained him to come. Just say treat. Or say popcorn, as I saw in your video. I watched one of your videos, your training video. You said you can call it popcorn for all I care.
That's it. I know.
Yeah, I mean, it's true. We get so hung up on the words.
That's it. Yeah, when I'm training, I say, I don't care. You can say Cheetos. I don't care. As long as the dog knows.
Yeah.
As long as everyone in the family uses the same phrase.
So on the reactive dog, on the when you're out and about, just obviously, look at the size of the book, to give you an idea of how much goes into trying to resolve that particular problem. But make sure you're not making it worse. So don't kick the dog like he who may not be mentioned does, and don't yank and drag and no, bad dog. They're not being bad. They're just expressing how they feel. And the thing is, any of us who have relationships, if your partner says, I've got a real problem with your cooking, Catherine, it's no good if I say, well, that's too bad. Such to be. Well, actually, that probably is what I would say. But if you're telling your dog, I don't want to hear how you feel, stop growling, stop snapping, stop snarling, stop barking. Okay, fine. Don't feel any better about that other dog, though, do I? So that's why your choke, prong, shock collar, hold punishment approach is extremely dangerous. But it's good for my business because I get the calls from the people who did all that, and then their dog, out of the blue, attacked another dog. Well, if you punish your dog into shutting up, so he's walking along the street and you think, oh, he's fixed now, look at that. 3 weeks of shocking him and choking him or whatever. It's really working. He's just walking along, but he's walking along going, I'm getting happy. Next time you get the chance, I'll have you. And they will. And the trouble is the owner thinks they're fixed, it's solved. So they say, oh, he's solved now, so let's go and say hi to that dog. Ah! Half a face ripped off. Unpredictable aggression. No, not at all.
What are some things you can do if you have a dog that growls every time another dog walks in the room? Or even...
What do they live with?
Yeah.
Well, it means that the
In-
whole
in
setup.
fosters too, actually. I mean, if
He
any
doesn't
dog-
like the other dogs around.
What's that?
He doesn't like the other dogs being around, I guess. I mean, what happens? How does it play out? Does anyone take any notice? That's a great question, because again, who was it was saying that their dog growls at them when the Welsh chap? Is he still here? No, he's not.
Yeah, John's gone.
Right, he said that his dog growls at him all the time, but it's actually, it's not a problem, because the whole of the rest of the body and everything else is actually fine. Like the Jack Russell I was mentioned to someone before, comes running up to everybody, agrees, and shows all its teeth like that, but the rest of his whole body is... So what's actually going
He's
on?
okay with three other dogs in the house, and the fifth dog he's not, and then any foster he's not. Usually.
He's learned to live with the resident dogs.
Well, the one after him he was okay with, and everyone after that, like he has a limit of 4, and that's it.
How old is he?
5. He is a puppy mill dog. He was sold from Missouri Puppy Mill, and he's fine in the house with as a normal dog, but he does have issues outside the house and stuff. And he's bonded to me because I work with him a lot, and he's protective of me sometimes. I think it's partly me, but what do I do even with fosters? If a new foster comes in, it takes obviously longer for him to get adjusted and used to, and then they can coexist.
Well, let's start using my separation protocol for a start. He's under stress. He's not handling these fosters coming in, the surprise house guests. You know, I would beg all of you, please do at least 24 hours, an absolute minimum. Because you may have done it, you know, I'm sure some of you are thinking, oh, come on, I've had 50, I've had 100 dogs, never had a problem. You just got lucky. It's out there, it's waiting for you, it'll happen. And that will be, it just needs to be one dog who gets into that situation and they have a fight, and you break up the fight and you get bitten. That dog's now got a bite history to a human, a bite history to a dog. And that does not make dogs adoptable, it makes them unadoptable. And unadoptable dogs get put to sleep. So take it seriously, this separation thing. You know, it's a bit of a pain, but it's doable. It really is. It's doable.
For the one dog he does this to, it's been 2 years already.
Have they ever had a fight?
Yes.
They have. Well then, if you called me and said my dog's had a fight, I'd say, right, they've got to be separated. You've got to go back and start over. Separate them, put them through the process, and then we'll start reintroducing them. But then we also have to look at your parenting skills or what's going on in the environment. Are we setting them up to succeed or fail? Because it's no good doing the separation thing if we're making loads and loads of mistakes as soon as we introduce them. So obviously, there's 2 parts to that, isn't there? Like, okay, put them through separation and then feed the whole lot out of one bowl. I don't think so. So there's a lot of education there for everybody on how they actually raise these dogs or manage these dogs, live with them.
I think dogs can ruin relationships with one another. They can be repaired, but again, repairing relationships takes a long time to repair relationships. We see it over in daycare, and 2 dogs have a little scuffle, and then it carries over again the next time they see one another. So I think that, you know, you have to separate and then build up that process.
And it's not to say that dogs won't fight. I mean, kids, people fight. You know, who doesn't have fights with their partner? Doesn't mean you can't live together. The problem for us, though, is that when dogs do have a fight, it can be very costly in terms of our vet bills, and, you know, it's dangerous. And the bigger the dog, the more dangerous it is.
Also, it's like in a cat fight or a horse fight. They don't get put down.
I know. We don't seem to mind that.
Yeah, but we don't tolerate dog bites as a society.
We don't tolerate dogs even growling. You growl at me. You know what? If your dog growls at you, they're doing you a favour.
Yeah.
They're telling you how they feel, and you've got to address that. You'll never change behaviour if you don't change the underlying emotion behind it, the underlying cause for that behaviour. So I think I was saying before about the dogs on the leash who are being reactive. Are they displaying distance increasing or distance decreasing behaviour? Are they saying, go away, get away, I don't want you anywhere near me, or I'm over here, come and play? And how you handle that is going to be different. So I don't know what the dog that you were referring to wants to achieve. Does it want to go and play, or does it want them to get away? So the frustrated greeter gets closer to the other dog in return for calm behaviour. The dog who wants the other dog to go away gets taken away from the other dog in return for calm behaviour. So it's absolute opposite. So it's so important that you understand what your dog's trying to tell you. And don't let them go over threshold. You know, if I come to work with you, I'm going to say, I believe what your dog does. I don't ever want to see it. I don't really need to see the dog in full display. We can see it long before the dog goes over threshold from the body language. We can see, is it frustrated greeter or is it frightened and distance increasing behavior? But that's where your body language comes. What's the dog telling you? Yes?
Do your suggestions for introducing a new dog to an established dog also apply to introducing a new cat into a home where there's dogs?
Yes.
Because I've done this recently and I pretty much followed what you suggested,
Good for
but I
you.
didn't know about the eye contact.
Oh, yeah.
And so when I brought the cat out, I mean, it worked out fine. It took a little while. But when I brought the cat out in the cat carrier, I didn't think to cover it to avoid the eye contact.
Yeah.
Okay. I'll remember that.
So when Jinx jumps up on you, Laurie, what you really want to do is no eye contact, because just remember your eye contact, your talky and your touchy is like 3 pieces of cheesy in terms of scientifically proven learning theory. So looking at the dog and saying, no, don't do that, has the effect of, good dog, have a treat for that and do it again as fast as you can, please. That's what they're hearing. Because in their world, they don't get off, oops, no, don't do that. They just get, well, she's still looking at me and talking to me, so I guess she likes it, but she's being a bit strange. So if you want to tell the dog, I don't want you jumping all over me, break the eye contact and just stand up. Wait till the dog is in the position you want it to be. Just walking away is fine. Sit down.
It's a pain.
Will she jump all over me if I sit down?
It's mostly like when I'm at the computer and I'm working.
Oh yeah, it's attention. You see,
Yeah,
so she wants attention, but she's actually getting it because what she wants. Attention can be no, you bad dog, get off, don't do that. Oh, where's that girl? She's lovely. Hello, hi. She thought about jumping up on you then, didn't she? She corrected herself. Jinx! Hey, Jinx! Hey, are you a naughty dog? Did you jump on me? Not today, she didn't. So, she's not going to do it, is she? Well, she'll do it standing up, okay, probably. Hello! Where's that dog? Are you a good dog? Jinx, come on, be a naughty dog. Jinx! Come on, be a bad dog for me. Jinx! Hi, you a hee. Jinx! Come on. Jinx, come on. Can you jump on me? Come on, let's go. Let's do it.
Stick a frisbee in your hand so she'll jump.
You're not going to jump on me, are you?
She's like, oh, she knows.
She says with this one, I've learned that already.
Gave her all those tricks she learned
If
already.
you take a toy in your hand and try to keep it away from her, she will definitely jump up.
Will she? Come on, Jinxie. Which one do you want? Well, that one. You can have that one. Come on, let's go. Oh, it's got a water bottle in. This has. You can't have it, you bad dog. You can't have it. No. Go on. Do it. Do it. You're thinking, oh, look at that. She's correcting us. You're going to jump on me. No way. Not going to do it. She says, come on, I'm being really good. You are being really good. Oh, I can't get it. Smile. Let's see if she does it to you. Come over here. You are too good. I haven't got a frisbee in there. Okay. Right, head up. First thing, don't look at it. Break the eye contact when she jumps. It's hard, you know. You can tell people, you spell it out, but they keep doing it. They just cannot stop themselves. It takes a lot of practice. You'll find you know it, but you'll keep doing it. It's just how we are. See if she'll jump in. Freeze. I don't see that dog, it's not even there.
She's doing really well.
So, make sure she doesn't get anything for at least 3 seconds after the jump, or you'll end up with jump sit. Ready? So she can have the turn. Yeah. So if the dog's jumping up on you, don't look, don't talk, don't touch. Questions? Because I
Yes, we have to ask you that, when you go outside, the, one guy here in the yard around at park, and the other, Mars, the other dog. They played the So now, I'm such afraid to go They go outside together.
Is it redirected frustration at the fence, you mean? You bark at something and then it redirects onto the other dog?
very welcome, that's what you
Just going outside, and yes, just going alongside and just go, and he's barking and calling.
Well, the quickest way to deal with something like that, I don't know what's going on, but is to say, I know what's going to happen. You know when you go home what's going to happen. To say, for some reason you don't like it, there's something going on that doesn't seem good to you. So put somebody on a leash. There's a lot of arousal probably when we go out or over around to make sure that things are calmer. Let one out, then the other one. Just break up the scenario. Yeah, it's a...
Because they're right there at the door.
Yeah, there's a lot of excitement. Dogs love going through doors, don't they? You know, you go out through the door and then turn around and come back to the door. They'll be right, oh, but we're going inside again. Good. No, we don't. Oh, we're going outside again. Oh, good. They love going through doorways. They're all about entrances and hallways, passageways. Yeah, just let them out one and then have a space. Because every time you let them out together at the moment, they're rehearsing the behaviour. They're getting better at it. And that's what dogs do. They practice their behaviour and get better and better at it.
I just was thinking that he kind of a foster dog.
Well, maybe.
And now he's, it's like, what are you doing? Because you can do that.
Any more questions?
Yeah, go. This is based a little bit more on what John was talking to you about. I've got a new foster. I've had him for about a month now, but he's about 15 months, and he spent about the first year of his life in the shelter. Okay, we brought him in, we adopted him out pretty quick, and then he was brought back because the family was afraid of him. But what we found is what he does is every once in a while, he'll, to get attention, he'll start growling at you. He could start off just sitting down and just start growling.
I just get up walk out the room.
And I do that, and he follows me and still growls until I go in a room and close the door.
Right.
Now, if I'm sitting on the couch and he does it, I'll just turn away, and he'll walk over in front of me and start up again. I'll turn the other way.
Okay, so the flip side of this, you're on the right track. But what we must do both sides. It's a bit like yin and yang. So at the moment, you're making it very clear to him, I don't like that behaviour.
Right.
But what we're perhaps not doing so much of is saying, but I like that behaviour. So again, practicing when the dog jumps on you, we're going, I don't like that. I don't see you. But you better be cognizant. You better be watching. Where is that? What's he doing now? And if he's in a sit or he's just even walked off and his 4 feet are on the ground, as he's walking away, you'll say, you're a good dog, and then you'll turn around and go, oh, me? Really? Yeah, just for being on the floor with all 4 feet? Yeah, actually, yes, because all you do is jump. So, the growling thing, we've got to let him know, I don't like that, that's not going to work, it makes you disappear, but wait until he's doing something else, and say, good dog! Whatever it may be, just even walking off.
Okay.
That'll do. So he starts to realise, dogs are like commission-only salespeople. Right? If there's nothing in it for them, they're not doing it. So there's something in it for that dog because he keeps doing this. He's getting something out of it. It's working for him.
Okay.
So he needs to learn what's going to actually work.
Right. I was just saying when you were talking about the touch earlier.
Okay. Yeah.
If that was,
Well, if he comes up and goes, grrr, and you go, touch, then that worked because you spoke to him, you looked at him. So he's got to disconnect from that. That growl thing is zero. He gets nothing for that. It's very difficult not to look at a dog when they're growling at you all.
so,
What?
yeah,
It's spooky.
It can be pretty.
Is it pretty intense?
Yeah.
Do you get up and leave the room very quickly?
Starting last night, I did.
Yeah, I would. You could go, oh, and he's following you, then just perhaps just stand somewhere and see what he does. If he just comes up and then turns and walks away, say, "Oh, Fluffy, good dog," you're like, really?
And you never know what's going to happen because he may do it and then not do it for a week.
Well,
He'll
again,
do
we
it a couple
need to be
days and
sure what else is going on. That's not, anybody else in this room got a dog who does that? It's not normal. You know what I mean? It's not.
Right,
the
right.
So I would probably want to be looking to see if there was something else going on. I'm just saying it might not be what you think.
I actually had a foster dog girl to tell me she had to go outside.
Right, so that's it. You see, it might be actually that dog is growling at something else.
That wasn't normal behavior for her, so I like, okay, so I took her outside, she went potty outside, and that was it.
How did that dog learn that? Isn't that weird? I want to go out and potty.
I mean, it wasn't a mean snarl and growl, it was like it was just a growl.
Yeah.
Yeah, like, I mean, she was a little toy Aussie, and she just sat there and it was this growly thing. I'm like, oh, that's weird. And then first thing I thought, okay, we'll just go outside and see. And sure enough, she had to go outside, and and actually at her new home, she was recently adopted out. She's continuing that.